I got a 2-hour video here. I know nothing about this dude. Very little about him. But we're gonna hop in and we're gonna see what's cracking. Controversial figure. Kitty Raptor, welcome. How you doing? Controversial figure among the game dev community, so I've heard. Checkered past, and people just keep telling me to check him out. They're like, check out Yandere dev, check out Yandere dev. So well, here I am to please. So
besides expanding on his already expansive website, comparing isolation.
Come down and
I'm good. How are you? I'm doing very well. I was doing a little Helldivers before I jumped into this Yandere dev stuff, and yeah, we're gonna get into it. Hope you're having a good night. Hope you're chilling. Hope everyone's copacetic. And yeah, if anyone has any questions about, I don't know, man. Like I said, I don't know anything about this dude. But if you guys want to tell me a little bit about him, you know, I'd be down to hear it.
give your lover a kiss.
Social and experience.
Guys, if you have any issues, like if you can't hear the video, please let me know. I've been having issues with my my YouTube videos. People keep leaving comments that the video I'm watching is too low. So if the video is too low, let me know. I'll see what I can do with it. But on my side, everything's maxed out. So
anger, malice, and a sudden rise to popularity.
And if it's too loud,
this is the recipe for Alex Mahan, known as the Yandere Dev. The moniker derived from his creation, Yandere Simulator, a game that, similar to Alexander, is incomplete. Per lengthy forum post to his current day postings, he has never been able to find a lasting partner. What has fallen him instead has been a history that haunts him.
All right, what does him having to find a partner have anything to do with this game? I think this is like a full-on deep dive on like his past and shit. So, damn, how long has he been developing this game for? 11 years-ish? Damn. Is it finished? I mean, like, is it close to finish? Like, I don't know.
Posts about wanting to attack his parents, many damning accusations, varying opinions on promiscuous women, and a fascination with the video game character Samus Aran.
Right,
now all remembered because of his recent, illicit conversations with a 16-year-old.
Yeah, you're very skinny and that's kind of hot.
Him being 35, more than twice her age, did not win favor with the community he was attempting to repair relations with. This, as it were, is the tip of the iceberg. Many tackle only pieces of Yandere Dev, but this word is the tip of the iceberg.
Behold, the Yandere Dev iceberg, containing almost every shitty, sketchy, or weird thing Yandere Dev has ever done. Oh god, this is truly a deep dive. This is a 3-hour fucking video. Brother.
Many tackle only pieces of Yandere Dev,
Not to mention,
but this video will cover his expansive history to present day.
I might be skipping some of this crap.
In 1997, developing alongside Alexander, who was 9 at the time, was a new term, involuntary celibate. First found in a support website ran by a woman in her mid-20s, simply known as Alana.
Do I really care about
Alana's involuntary celibate project.
Do I care about all this stuff? Do I need to watch this? Did I go to the failed game projects? I mean, at least they have it like bookmarked, man. That's dope. Does his background matter? Does the background matter?
Project, as it was called, was intended as a support group for those who felt marginalized by society. As the website grew, the term involuntary celibate was shortened to incel, then as per a suggestion, was shortened for the easier spoken and now popular incel.
All right.
The website itself.
Yeah, this is like history of Eva Zephon.
As was popular in virtually all subcultures in the 2000s. In fairness, the guide is not as on the forum, quote, as obsessed with the thought of college. Alex more marginalized in an already marginalized space, yet as a plus. I was young and naive and starved for attention because of my broken home. So feeling flattered and as for Alex, it was no secret that he is a sexual deviant. In all of his interests, he could find a sexual side, and so in his alternate channel, Zephon Ava, he has videos on Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. 6 back-to-back are entirely on the 16-year-old Paz Ortega. 1 is on how to seduce her. The rest are also sexually charged. On this channel, he also has, albeit short, 5 videos on the game Rock Band, where he has made all the members women in bikinis, and that's it. This
you can do
channel
that in
also
Rock
has a
Band.
video with every cutscene of Zero Suit Samus in the game Metroid Other M. Besides videos of E3 and Anime Expo, it has clips of random games with interesting happenings like glitches, and is for all intents and purposes an accurate portrayal of the mind of Alex.
Shoot you in the crotch.
Even with all
Shoot
these
you in the
videos
crotch.
considered, they pale in comparison to his other works, namely his fan fiction, proving both his unchanging nature of needing to sexually charge other works and sexual deviancy that has remained strong, trying to tell a mostly serious story with constant mention of breast and sexually explicit material. On October 31st, 2005,
Deviant's
Alex
gonna
began
deviate.
writing a Soul Calibur fanfiction titled I Am Your Slave. These
Oh.
works, considering they are typically creative outlets with no incentive beyond expression, are expectedly abandoned. Alex was the exception. Nearly 4 years, 59 chapters, and over 300,000 words later, the work was finished. Totaling 350,223 words, this was more than a full-length novel. If converted to a book, that's 1,400
All right, man.
double-spaced.
Like, no, I don't give a shit about sexual background, or anything like that. Like, unless you're like fucking chatting up like 16-year-olds when you're 35, and you know, just being a fucking weirdo. I don't care if you're a furry. I don't care if you're gay or whatever. It fucking doesn't matter to me. That has nothing to do with like character, in my opinion. But when you take it does, oh my god, when you take it to an extreme and that's just all you're obsessed with, that becomes an issue. I don't know.
pages. Perhaps this was a distraction to help him forget about what he deemed as his shortcomings. The same month this was published, he was again ranting about losing the opportunity with the girl he made out with. As cyclical as Alex's life was, the background elements were progressing, because after 3 years, he graduated from Santa Monica College with an Associate of Arts, Animation, Interactive Technology, Video Graphics, and Special Effects.
Okay.
This is essentially animation with game development.
Okay.
There was no job waiting for him after graduation,
There isn't
so
going to
filling the
be.
time, he streamed and continued to get notoriety for his sour personality. There exists a 29-second video where Alexander toasts
milk.
who is presumably a friend for pirating Warcraft 3. In his hand is a goblet of milk that he sips. The audio won't be played.
Anyone thinking about going to a video game college or a game college, do not. It is the biggest waste of fucking money you will ever have. There will be no job waiting for you when you get out. I went to a video game college. I went to Full Sail University. I have a bachelor's in game design. And I did not ever plan to work for a studio. That being said, I did put my hat in the ring. I did check it out. I tried to work for multiple companies. You will never get in. You will never get in. And that's not to say like because I wasn't talented or anything like that. Be that as may, there are some talented motherfuckers in there, but you gotta fit the team, if you know what I mean. You can work for other indie studios. I've worked for numerous indie studios. I worked for Zygobot Studios. I did some level designs and VR shit for them. I worked for a crypto company called Lucky Maneki. I made a mobile game for them. And then I have my own company, Anarchy Studios, which I've developed a few different games for. Drop and Dodge, Apostle 3D, and currently Idle Streaming Bonanza and Samurai Stratagem. If you're going to go to college and you want to make video games, learn how to program. The rest of the shit will come. Go get a normal CS degree, computer science degree, and just go from there. The benefits outweigh outweigh the cost, I guess, because if you just go to a game dev college, you're not going to learn all of the game, or you're not going to learn all the programming you need or all the technical skills that you need. You will pick those up later on. So if you're debating on going to college for game design or game development, don't just read a fucking book on it. And what is the point of game dev colleges? There is no job at the end. There is no job at the end. But that can be said to all, because when you go get a computer science degree, there's no job at the end either. You know what I mean? You can go to job fairs, you can do all that shit. But usually there's no job at the end of college. You know what I mean? Unless you have like a internship and they're like, hey, once you graduate, you know, you can come. That's the only difference. But get a normal computer science degree, because you can use that shit outside of game programming, outside of the game, video game world. Like, I have a job as a software developer for a construction company, but I had a lot of learning that I did on the side that the game design course did not teach me. So just some friendly advice.
Played because Alex wants to hide this, and copyright strikes any
And they're
copy of it.
predatory as fuck. They're predatory as fuck. Don't go to like a Full Sail. Don't do game design colleges or game development colleges. Get a normal CS degree and just learn the game design on your by yourself. And there's plenty of books out there to learn game design, which is not hard. It's all about like letting the player make choices. Pretty much all it is.
He even attempts to copyright claim transformative works that in turn bring attention to them. The earliest recreation of him sipping the goblet dates back all the way to February of 2010. Having a poor reputation about non-stop discussion of his sexual frustration birthed this.
I'll never have sex.
Okay.
Toaster.
Stalwart in desires, Alex did not relent. He pressed on and attempted to legitimize his writing by not going under Ava Zephon, but his real name, Alex Mahan, as an quote-unquote LA Video Game Babes Examiner that could be found on Examiner.com. Videos uploaded here are the same ones uploaded on his secondary YouTube channel, Zephon Ava, like his video on the Chrome Angels seen on the 2008 Game Awards. Investigating these works could have helped early detractors put together Alex's online identity. Nothing more telling than this article titled Samus Aran, From Role Model to Sex Object. Here is an excerpt where, taking into account Alex's obsession with his character, develops a rather unexpected argument. Quote, for so long, Samus had always been the exact opposite of the most common female archetype in video games. The stereotypical sexy babe, wearing minimal clothing while striking provocative poses at every chance. And now, Samus herself, once the very poster child for respectable female leads, has joined the ranks of such bimbos. As of the introduction of the Zero suit, Samus Aran has lost all mystique. Her face, once a closely guarded secret, is now bared freely, and she wears a form-fitting, skin-tight suit that tightly hugs the curves of her shapely body. She is perfectly ideal, highly attractive, and the most sexually appealing Nintendo character in years. A drastic change from whom she once was. While you will hear no complaints from enthusiasts of the female form, Samus Aran's previous character has been vandalized. She is no longer a woman, but his trend will not continue, making match from his roots. And so, this year, he attended Anime Expo. The job at a game development company venture because about a month later, in late 2010, he landed a job at a game development company known as Kung Fu Factory. Despite having less time,
what they make? Hello Kitty Seasons, Supremacy MMA, Girl Fight, Spartacus Legends, and Bellator MMA Onslaught. Okay.
At a game development company known as Kung Fu Factory. Despite having less time due to longer hours of work and not being able to stream as much as he used to, there exist recordings of the few streams he did during this time. One of them are on the day of the release of the PlayStation Move. While primitive, his setup was functional, even complete with a webcam. Those that joined late would find Alex playing shirtless, a choice influenced by the heat of his living quarters. It was on this stream where Alex reveals that.
Have y'all ever played PlayStation Move? Not gonna lie. It was pretty goated. I had, I think the only game I had for it was Killzone 3. Let me tell you, man, that game was fucking fun. Food? Mark Minshew, what's going on, brother?
Even though his education laid in animation, he was being hired on as a quality assurance junior game designer.
I'm unhappy because my 3D animation ability is not, I don't think it's going to meet their standards.
Yeah?
I don't think they're going to be hiring me on as an animator. Junior game designer, yes.
Then you got to practice.
Junior game designer, quality assurance lead.
I don't see shit. I see pixels.
Maybe junior animator. Maybe I'll get to do the crappy animations because the more skilled animators are too busy doing important things to bother with that crap.
Well, yeah, if you're just joining, that's what you're going to be doing.
In animation would be damning. That and this Reddit post from a user
you're not going to hop in and just fucking lead shit or
this is
shit.
Either an excellent troll who is aware of Alexander's job,
be lucky you got a job with them,
and his descriptive insecurities, or it is Alex. And he posted on Reddit, "No woman could ever love me. I must choose between a life of hookers or a life with a real doll. Which should I choose?" The crux of this post is in the last paragraph. Quote, "A real doll is $6,500, but will get a lot of use every day for the rest of my life. A hooker is much cheaper. But even if I only used a hooker once a week or once a month, the cost would easily outweigh a real doll within
Jesus
a year.
Christ.
A real doll is the most financially prudent choice, but
This guy was like sexually repressed, or like just looking for that sexual outlet. And I mean, guys, if you got that problem, man, just like go talk to girls like normally. Don't think of them like, you can't look at a woman and just be like, "Oh yeah, I'm a fucking," you know. They're not just a fucking piece of meat to go stick your pee-pee in. You know, go talk to them. Go talk to them. You know what I mean? It's not fucking hard. Like, just talk to a girl. And if they turn you down, just talk to another one. Just talk to another one. It gets easier. Yeah, fucking, this is tame to some of his later stuff, really? I don't know, man. Just go talk, like, the sexual repression shit, and I get it, you know. I think I heard that he was homeschooled or some shit, and he just doesn't have like social cues. Even with that, man, just like, I don't know. I'm just giving advice. Like, if y'all have issues talking with girls, just go talk to them. You'll get probably shut down a few times, but eventually you'll get better at talking. You know, you'll figure out what works. You know, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Be like, "Oh, I fucking love this girl. I love her so much," and you don't even know her. You know what I mean? Just go fucking. Eventually, you'll meet someone. I mean, I'm talking about him, but you know, just general advice, I guess.
"It's flesh and blood," unquote. A real doll, as the name implies, is a life-size sex doll.
And this shit's
a
weird.
real doll that costs that
this
much
is psychopath
would be
shit.
one of high quality, and thus the price would be too steep for now. Even without this information
Unless you're like an old
in the
man.
public space, Alex was gaining infamy like never before. There were many anecdotes of him ruling over his streams with an iron fist. Some of his
Same goes for a lot of stuff you never start perfect. Yeah, exactly.
rules demonstrate this, like his strange selection of bad words. While some
Bro,
are
you know how many
common,
fucking
like
girls I talked to and I just felt like a total asshole afterwards, or like just a fucking weirdo. Not because I was being a creep or nothing, just like because I would go up to a girl, talk to them, and I just feel like I fucking talked to them about dumb shit, or I just like stutter or was super nervous. Like, the more girls you talk to, the less nervous you're gonna be.
the N or F word, others are chosen only due to the repetition in his chat, like variations of lag, internet lingo like pliz, plox, or in before, and wording that implies suggestions, such as should've, could've, would've, must've. His online activity, a trail of combativeness and sexual deviancy, were taking form in simple articles and discussions. The first of importance is this one titled, "Gamers Are Embarrassing," Alex Mahan, a study in gamer embarrassment. Posted April 11, 2011, this reads, quote, "He lists himself as an LA Games Babe Examiner, which is something no one should ever list themselves as. He apparently writes copious amounts about the various babes in gaming. Apparently, hundreds of articles dedicated to various women in gaming, from all facets of the embarrassing gamer world, from horrible figurines to cosplay to just appreciating in-game models. There is so much to cover here, and I can't even begin to scratch the surface. This guy is pretty much single-handedly illustrating every fucked up aspect of how gamer men deal with women, and he keeps doing it. Feel free to come up with favorite examples in the comments. He also apparently goes by the internet handle Ava
Oh wow,
Zephon.
this is someone
If you feel
writing
like finding out more,
about him.
it's not going to make you happy at all." Unquote. While short, these words resonated with the comments and provided the increasingly recognizable connection between Alex Mahan and Ava Zephon. Comments range from linking to his name on the Open Dictionary to demonstrate established infamy, to his ventures like his streams, his 350,000-word fan fiction, and his unwelcome post from
Life
Guy
of a
Online.
sex
The dangers of centralizing these identities to a single person was very much real. As if only to bring further ridicule, a month after this was posted, Alex created not only the Video Game Babe's Twitter account to accompany his articles, but also a YouTube channel under the same name. This channel was entirely devoted to close-ups of the models of video game characters.
He has an
All of
obsession. I
Alexander's
think that's what's
previous
ruining,
videos on
like
Zero
what
Suit
ruined him.
Samus were also found on here. The constant advertising of his articles was also getting some attention, though ironically, it was not the advertisements that brought attention to him. It was the Streisand effect playing its part. The article calling Alex an embarrassment was now trumped by a Reddit post dated July 2011. The poster shows an image of Alex advertising his articles via...
Yeah, boys, we know about the Streisand effect over here. We know about the Streisand effect.
Sponsored links on Reddit that reads, quote, "Nobody ever visits my subreddit about video game women. Frowny face. Please visit. Maybe you'll like it." Unquote. The user then shows the response to Alex's post that reads, quote, "It's because, in all likelihood, you work for/get paid by Examiner.com to post links over and over to their site, ruining what could have been a good subreddit. Then, you do stuff like get an advertisement and use it to complain about how there are never any visitors on this subreddit." Unquote. The user then shows that they were banned by Alex from that subreddit. This image, compiling all this, was posted to r/gaming, and despite its poor compiling, gained fast traction.
Alright, I think I gotta skip a little bit, man. Like, I don't give a shit about Reddit. I want to see some failed games.
Model of Zero Suit Samus rigged for Maya. As it would become apparent, Alex saw all the pros and not the cons in his ability. Though he could create a concept, when trying to flesh out a game and code it efficiently and for the long term is something he could not do. Structure in anything is important. Optimally, when reading code, one can look at it and comprehend how the elements interact with one another. This is clean and understandable. But if these strands take a less optimal route and become harder to follow, while functional, the...
Is this his? Yes? Oh my god. I don't know what I'm fully looking at, though. I don't know what I'm fully looking at.
Unwarranted complexity make...
I will say, like, my code's bad. I say I have, like, I got mid code. You know what I mean? I'm mid. I get shit working. You know, I might use some if statements that could be consolidated down, but I ain't leaving, like, if else, if else, if else, if else. You know what I mean? I know how to do a switch statement. You know,
makes these connections look jumbled like...
My code's mid. I'm not saying I'm the best programmer. I still got a lot to learn. You know what I mean? I still have a lot to learn, but God.
A bowl of spaghetti, hence the term spaghetti code.
Spaghetti code.
So Alex could develop a concept.
We always said... I always say spaghetti code's like... we call spaghetti code like visual code. You know how like Unreal Engine has got visual... They got blueprints? That's what I say spaghetti code is. Because like if that shit looks terrible, man. Oh my God, I hate blueprints.
And what was his plan afterwards? Well, the afterwards was hard to achieve, so he just focused on the present.
I'm still here, guys. I'm hitting the vape.
Many different directions, he settled on the fighting game. Taking inspiration from Mike Ziamont, an indie developer with recent success from his fighting game Skullgirls, Alex began making his own 2D fighting game. Simply titled Fighting Game, this could be found on his website avazephon.com. On the surface, it was a rudimentary fighting game, but on the back end, it was not even considered that. In November 2013, Alex, seeking advice, joined Mike Z's IRC. This could be equated to joining someone's Discord server. In here, Alex requested Mike, going as Whippler Ronkin, check out his fighting game. The text of the IRC has been preserved and shows the fallout resulting from Mike's advice to Alex. Alex starts by stating, "Frowny face, everyone hates my fighting game. It's the opposite of what I envisioned." Mike responds with, "Like, what I got from your demo was, I haven't done most of the work yet, but since I haven't encountered problems, my design is sound and I should ignore your advice. I don't hate the game, I hate your attitude." As
you know what he throws off to me? From the previous, he was talking about getting hired as an animator, right? He's talking about getting hired as an animator and not being, like, his animations aren't good enough. And now he's like, my fighting game's not good enough. People don't like it. Not a delusion of grandeur. It might be a delusion of grandeur, but it's a if something is too hard, or if he doesn't want to improve upon himself. I think that's what I'm grabbing out of it. Like, he doesn't want to improve upon himself. He'll do one thing, he'll make it, and if someone shits on it, he'll be like, okay, I'm done with it, or no, you're wrong. You know what I mean?
As the chat progresses, it is understood by the subtext that Alex is not seeking advice for his fighting game.
Now, granted, I've done that, but I did it on Reddit. I know Reddit doesn't like my shit. But Reddit's I want to say not a culture, but a community, and a type of game is different than, like, some people will hate your game and some people will like the genre. So like people on Reddit hate Idle Streaming Bonanza. They fucking like there's a lot of people who are like, oh, this sucks. You know, it's Twitch brained or whatever they call it, being a slop salesman and shit. But there's definitely community out there that would love Idle Streaming Bonanza. The incremental, if you know, some people in the incremental would probably like it, and then obviously people who love like LSF drama or drama in general, you know, and no one's ever done that type of game. But anyways, let me go on. I think it's great. Hey, do appreciate you, man. Thank you.
As Alex responds with, "How is it not impressive that I single-handedly created a fighting game? I made a game with intros, idols, walks, runs, jumps, dashes, air dashes, specials, health meters, super
this right
meters,
here,
throws, air throws, and I hand animated every animation myself. Isn't that impressive?"
This right here, like, because he thinks he did all this, that he's worthy of praise. Just because you did all this stuff, and yes, it's a good achievement. It is a good achievement to do this, but that doesn't mean it's going to be great. I've made shitty games. I've made okay games. I've made good games. It's what you take from it. You know what I mean? This is like not only is this like fishing, but this is like this is the standard for a fucking game dev. This is stuff that you'll have to learn, especially if you're solo. You know what I mean?
Isn't that respect-worthy? So there's an organization problem. Can't I hear a single encouraging word? Mike responds with, "Good job. You did a thing in Unity that runs and renders stuff for you, and you made an update loop and some anims. Good shit, sir. You only want to hear that?" The point Mike is trying to get across as an experienced developer that took the time to review Alex's work is to get Alex to understand his work is unimpressive in the competitive market he is trying to enter. And if he is not grounded in creating something not just competent, but uniquely impressive, then he will fail. Alex both makes it clear he does not understand and inadvertently annoys Mike with his petulant attitude by stating, "If there is no gratification for what I've done, then it's literally wasted work. Like, why should I ever code again?" Alex maintains this attitude throughout the rest of the chat with lines such as, "Why would I ever bother pursuing my dreams ever again when this is the outcome? That's what I wanted it to be. I wanted to be my..."
This game doesn't look bad, and it's like if this is his first fighting game that he made, you know, it doesn't look terrible. I don't know. I play a lot of fighting games.
Somebody cool who could be my Alex Ahad. Still, it gets worse. Not only can Alex not grasp the privilege of having his work reviewed,
I know everything,
he spits on that by saying to Mike Z, "What kind of ego does it take to make you think that everyone should do exactly what you say and code exactly the way you think they should?" The chat members keep on attempting to console Alex, and Alex only pities himself.
Especially since that's a really early version of it too. Yeah, no, it doesn't look terrible, you know what I mean?
This were to play out on a macro scale, it would be catastrophic. Though Alex did, as stated several times, abandon this project, he still remained fixated with creating a fighting game. That's why, on January 2014, a preview for Lunar Scythe, the fighting game Alex turned his attention to, was uploaded on a channel that would only ever host that 29-second preview. Alex also released an 80-megabyte demo. He could be found advertising it on skullhearts.com, a website dedicated to skullgirls. The feedback here was constructive, but lukewarm at the project. Commenters finding the main character, Luna's design, to be lackluster and too similar of other popular characters like Red from the show Ruby, who also wields a scythe as a weapon. Alex will work on Lunar Scythe until March, where he gave up on designing fighting games altogether. These two failures...
But that's not necessarily a bad thing either. People like familiar stuff. People like familiar stuff. So he like, I would have kept running with it.
Resulting in being virtually unemployed for a year left him in a desperate situation. It got to the point where he was in talks with Kung Fu Factory attempting to recuperate his old job. He had one last concept that success would decide his future. He placed that in the potential of a Yandere simulator. In the video game section on 4chan, he talks about this concept. Let's discuss the game mechanics of a yandere simulator. Set in school, pick a boy, stalk him, kill girls who flirt with him, /talk to /look at him. Stealth gameplay, have to stalk the boy without getting spotted, set up accidents to kill girls, or kill girls without getting caught using a variety of school supplies.
Yo, I should make this. I should make this. Obviously, mine would be like a 2D kind of deal.
Dating sim gameplay, have to win the heart of the boy you have chosen, without letting him find out that you're a jealous and murderous psychopath.
My wife's been telling me to make something like this anyways, like a corpse party. She kept mentioning like Yandere game. Like a Yandere game, right?
Yeah, I've been telling you to do that for like...
Yeah, she's been telling me to do it for like, for a while. What's this? Choking you, having a good time until he says I dealt with your shit for too long.
Bad end, kill the boy and kill yourself. Good end, kill all harlots who try to steal the boy from you. Live happily ever after. Would V play it? To this, he reportedly got all he wanted from his concepts, and that was positive feedback. So a day later on April 2nd, he made a second post, and on the 3rd, a third. He also made a YouTube channel for the game, and in the vein of Lunar Scythe, uploaded a short demo where the protagonist is seen photographing their target and beating the woman he is talking to. This has many reasons to succeed.
All right.
But also,
so I'm curious on how, like, if he's doing all the modeling, like the models aren't bad, dude. Like the models aren't bad. It looks like the game, like gameplay is okay.
So many roadblocks placed by Alex's personality and social inability. Yandere is a
even the fighting game, like the animations weren't like, it was a little choppy, but those aren't his models. Oh, they're not. Did he get someone else to use them?
Japanese word, or at least a portmanteau of two Japanese words. Yanderu, which means to be sick, and dere, which means to be love-struck.
Love stick.
There are less destructive archetypes found commonly in media as well, like a tsundere that comes off as harsh, but that is offset with the overpowering emotion of love. These archetypes are fairly new and make their appearances in manga and anime. As the name implies, a yandere is someone who is mentally ill and goes to great extents for their perceived lover. Killing or other equally intense actions are expected from them to maintain their ties with their partner. To be popular, these characters maintain a balance of cuteness and madness and are virtually only women. That is, the essence of a yandere, and do not have to be in school, though they can be portrayed as such in anime and manga and are commonly written around high school age protagonists. As seen in Alex's video, the classroom setting is one of a Japanese
judo
high
flipped
school.
her ass. Stomp on her
As the
face.
idea gained traction, Alex created additional avenues for updates, like a blog that was updated regularly with progress reports. While not yet playable, he did create a simplistic clicker game of the same theme.
A clicker game?
Was static.
Okay, so he made an idle game too, bro. Oh my god, am I on the same path?
Like a blog that was updated regularly with progress reports. While not yet playable, he did create a simplistic
I hope I'm not on the same path.
Clicker game of the same theme. 4chan was ecstatic and extremely supportive of Alex's idea. Month after month, more videos were released, adding new and necessary updates like the ability to dispose of bodies, a hub area before going to school, and progressively the school itself was Alex was adopting bi-monthly updates. Those that were following the development voiced their excitement for the day the alpha build was released, and Alex got the attention he was desperately seeking and could not get from Mike Z. Yandere Dev, as he was calling himself, only used that interaction as fuel to create his indie game. Quote, I was inspired to become an indie dev by a very well-known programmer who almost single-handedly programmed a fighting game. He was my hero, my inspiration, unquote. Here he discusses his falling out with Mike Z, personally reflecting on the interaction as not Mike Z pointing out flaws generously, but instead making me look terrible in front of everyone. I turned my depression into a burning hatred that fuels my desire to develop indie games and eventually outshine that asshole, unquote.
Whatever. I have mixed feelings about Skullgirls just because of how they like went back and like changed some of the shit. Like they changed outfits and shit because of the new like fucking DEI shit or whatever. That's kind of scummy. Like if I bought the game, anyways, that's my issue with Skullgirls. Otherwise, it's a great fighting game. Skullgirls is a great fighting game.
Quote. But won't this alpha build ever come? In this 4chan post, he stated that the public may have to wait until he is done with the game in order to access it. His development hindered by his freelance work as seen here. Quote, I'm sorry, it's just a pet project and I have 2 real jobs, so it can't be my top priority. I'm guessing it might be finished sometime next year. Unquote. Already in development
Henry
for 5
McLaughlin,
months,
thanks for
these
the
stakes were not.
thanks for subscribing. Do appreciate you. I don't have notifications aren't playing through my ear, so I kind of caught it off the side of my
Hi.
screen.
Alex was not being paid for its development and promised a simple game with simple design. As Alex continued to get popularity as the developer of Yandere Simulator, he was completely detached from Ava Zephon and its other forms.
Did someone else make a Yandere game and he like copy struck it? Is that a thing? I feel like if he's not producing the game, like someone else would like hop on that fucking hop on that train and make one before him or finish it before him. Is that a thing?
Our audience knew nothing of that infamous figure, but there were a few that connected the dots. Luckily, their knowledge did not extend beyond them. Interestingly enough, as there was chatter about Ava Zephon, a user known as Neon Ava Zephon popped into Gaia requesting that Alex's longest-running Gaia topic be deleted. Since
there's many Sand Sim clones, but IDK if you DMCA'd them. Sim clones, okay.
He could no longer access his old account, citing the thread as embarrassing and likely wanted to bury his history because, quote, people often Google my username Eva Zephon. That topic is extremely embarrassing for me, and many people ridicule me in present day for posting that thread 9 years ago. I would very much like a moderator to delete that thread so that people stop making fun of me for it. Unquote. That thread was not deleted, and for now it was ignored. What fans of the project wanted was to support Alex, and so we asked his newfound audience if they would support a Patreon.
Kickstarter.
Quote, hypothetically speaking, if I made a Patreon for myself, would you guys call me a greedy, money-grubbing, redacted sellout, or would that actually be understandable? Unquote. Alex was getting more desperate as he was nearing reclaiming his old job at Kung Fu Factory, and a successful Patreon could help sustain the development of his game. A Kickstarter could also be an option, but the issues lie within the unclear scope of the game. Alex kept adding new features, but had yet explained what the gameplay beyond killing would be in the long run. There was, as a newly added intro suggested, rivals that would compete for your love interest, and would have to be eliminated. But little was thought out beyond that.
Can I play
Without
this
knowledge
game?
like this, it could be hard to gauge the complexity and set a one-time funding goal. Not to mention that though the audience he was garnering was large comparatively to what he had before, there is no possible way it would garner enough
Is it on
attention to
Steam?
hit a funding goal for the development of an entire game. But if this was to succeed, either way, he would need
On
funding
his website?
soon. Quote, my financial situation
free or
is
purchase?
a lot different than it was back in April. It's hard for me to turn away donations these days. Unquote. That's why, late 2014, he launched a Patreon and, alongside it,
$140
released
per
a
month.
very early version of the game. By the end
Free?
of December,
Okay.
he was up to 20 patrons and $140 a month.
Oh,
By January 8th, while retaining the same
damn,
amount of
girl.
patrons, his monthly earnings were down $85.
I can get
It
you a
was
link?
around
Yeah,
this
dude,
time
post
that he
it.
found out,
Appreciate it,
or
thank
rather
you.
other people did,
Are you in the
that
Discord? You
Yandere
can post it
Dev
there.
made a great mistake
You can post in chat. You can post in
commissioning
chat.
an
You should be
art
able
piece
to.
for his game. The link on DeviantArt.
Yo, for real, guys, I gotta use the bathroom real quick, man. I've been drinking. Give me a moment. Thank you. Okay, if I'm in the Discord. All right. Yeah, you could have posted it here. By the way, guys, I'm not sure if you guys are coming from Chud's stream. Like if you learned about me from Chud or just because of the pirate software bullshit. I am not a drunkard, okay? I only drink on the weekends, guys. I only drink on the weekends, all right?
Originally read, Kamish Yandere Simulator.
I did a few interviews and a few of them I was either drinking or like saying I was drunk the night before. I only drink on Friday and Saturday. Friday is my drink day. Yesterday I didn't I had family shit, so
For Eva Zephon. It was on this thread where he was pushing the long-thought abandoned lunar scythe.
I just
where
don't
users
drink
made
every day.
this discovery. A different user reacted by stating, Yandere Dev is fucking Eva Zephon. This cannot be real. It can't be. A different user
I found you on via YouTube recommend. I'm glad I found you. Hey, do appreciate it, man. Thank you.
was displeased that Yandere Dev had his sights set on a different game while committed to Yandere Simulator. Is he seriously wasting money on this crap? Hell, if you are still here, you stupid fuck, focus on Yandere Sim and throw this shit to the trash.
Yeah,
There were a
that's
few other
hard.
instances that made this faint connection corporeal. On the smaller side, he was seen posting pictures of Samus Aran, a character Ava Zephon paid great attention to. Most obvious yet was a recent update. Initially, Yandere Dev, with his YouTube videos, opted on allowing visual examples for his update videos. Then, on
I'm gonna play this next. I'm gonna play this after this.
Adding his own narration.
In Yandere Sim, the player's reputation determines how they are treated by other students. The bar at the top left corner of the screen represents the player's reputation.
With Alex having a rather
time goes
unique,
by fast.
raspy voice, it was not hard to tie Yandere Dev and Ava Zephon together. Despite a pocket of outrage, it, at the time, meant nothing. The stakes and the patrons were low, and Yandere Dev still had to appeal to one audience base. Quote, if they bitch...
Oh, I also have a video up for his code. Someone got his code base and is reviewing it. I'm gonna go over that too.
About the game being too violent or exploiting women or something stupid like that, I'll just be thankful for the publicity. I don't want to intentionally make the game edgy just for the sake of controversy, but I don't intend to compromise the game's content just to avoid offending people either. Unquote. There was something going on in the background virtually no one knew about. Through the month of January, a user known as Cannot Google Me, whose email address is alleged to be avazephon@mail.com, discovered when a user tried to reset the password with the email, or so they claim. On this Real Doll forum, Cannot Google Me asked questions on how to use a doll and avoid things that may ruin it. When it eventually arrived, this person deemed it my waifu, and later dressed it as Zero Suit Samus, going as far to say,
yeah, I wonder who did that.
Do you know who Zero Suit Samus is? I think she is utter perfection, so I decided to make my doll cosplay as her. This was 90% of the reason for buying the doll.
That's where all the Patreon money went, bro. That's where all the Patreon money went.
I wanted to make Samus real,
God.
Unquote. At this point, everyone was none the wiser. In February, with continued updates, his Patreon was up to 37 patrons and $212. A new market was taking note of his work, one that he had yet considered, only to later develop the game virtually around them.
Hi guys, it's Minx here. This is a very early sandbox build. It's not even like the proper game at the moment.
Minx, like just a Minx?
Yandere Simulator.
So I saw Manga Minx playing this game, and I'm like, yep, I need to check it out right now.
Okay, so this game has been requested.
Hello, everybody. It's
for a long
Markiplier
time now, and I'm starting to get an idea why.
These set of dominoes fell into place perfectly. A chain of events that over months attracted new content creators, new players, and new funders for Yandere Dev's Patreon. What started as a perplexing sandbox exploration turned into creators, including the most subscribed channel in the world, making a multi-part series, having their interest reinvigorated with frequent updates. As Yandere Dev was learning, he had something very special here. He tapped into a market with low supply. Japanese media has been increasingly capturing Western audiences, and with Yandere
Talk
Dev
about
being
fumbling the fucking ball
mixed with his Western origin, was a space where his implementations were appreciated.
This is a wonderful feeling.
Unlike his previous ventures, where his perspectives on characters came off as bland and uninspired, his additions...
Did he make money on this game? I mean, besides the Patreon. Like, did he sell this shit?
To this new project,
you said you got it for free.
In the accuracy in which he portrayed tropes and elements anime aficionados like him appreciated. By July, after a massive sweep of creators playing the game, Yandere Dev on his Patreon was up to 724 patrons and $4,200 a month.
It's good money.
With this money, he did not have to go back to Kung Fu Factory.
That's sex doll money right there.
To work on side projects. He could devote
the guy's been buying
sex
sex dolls
I think we
because he's sexually frustrated.
The point in time when
He
it's
tells
possible
everyone?
to deliver new.
No, but it's people
every
sleuthed
2
it.
weeks.
However, this funding came at the cost of an exception.
Because people on the internet fucking they like to dig.
What, they dug into his house and was
No,
like,
no, no,
"Look
no,
at this
no,
man
no.
fucking
But
this doll." What?
no, he was posting on shit like saying like as an old screen name earlier on. He was like before he started doing all this shit. He was like because he didn't he was having he's sexually frustrated. He couldn't talk to girls. He's like, I'm gonna be forever alone. So should I spend my life with hookers or get a love doll? Love doll would be cheaper in the long run. And yeah, it's just following suit. Like people are just connecting the dots with his emails and shit. I mean, if he's
that updates would be pumped out faster, optimally with patrons or virtually any.
I mean, he ain't making money
project
now.
Momentarily or beyond. The developer will use funds for living expenses while they develop the game and manage themselves in a way that continues
This
to
video is
fill out
really good
support.
at, like,
And
edited.
donators understand
Good
that
edit.
even with money donated, unless promised something, they are not owed anything. This is not always the case. On the flip side, you will have
Off the game directly, I don't think so?
the
Okay.
ability to communicate where the funding goes or comes off as unappreciated, and you will have fans that once breaching the monetary barrier feel like they are owed something and treat their money as an investment. Not only that, these fans can come from different communities that want opposing things. 4chan specifically was weary with this new attention Yandere Dev was getting. Not only because it had been established that Yandere
Not the
Dev was
4chan.
the infamous Evizephon, but also that these quote-unquote normies, or PewDiePie and other content creators' fan bases, would skew development. With this increase in attention, there were opinionated pieces opposing some of the game mechanics, like this article from Game War. Quote, yet the game often feels tone-deaf on real problems found within young women's educational experiences. Bullying and harassment are two core gameplay mechanics that Yandere uses to isolate senpai's love interests, often mirroring the same experience with social isolation and suicidal ideation that young teenagers regularly face. And Yandere's distribution of non-sexual, sexual photography trivializes sexual exploitation in public school settings, and downplays its invasive impact on young women. While Yandere Simulator is an intriguing concept, many of the game's design mechanics translate predatory behavior into a form of entertainment.
Oh,
which
who
sanitizes-
gives a shit? People are gonna bitch about fucking, like, people have been bitch about games being too violent or, you know, shit like being too explicit for fucking years. Who cares?
their abusive role in young women's educational experiences, unquote. Yandere Dev actually responded to this by stating in his development blog, quote, I don't think it can be said that Yandere Simulator sanitizes harassment, suicide, or sexual exploitation. The player is punished harshly for being caught performing unethical actions, unquote. He looked to be stalwart and desires to capture his image of the game. Not a difficult thing to balance considering the opinions against those elements in the game.
Brother, imagine. I'm not sure when did this happen? When did like Markiplier and PewDiePie start popping off? Like, he's got a pretty good background right here, so I'm assuming he's already big. Having these guys play your game, fucking millions of people. Oh my god, dude.
Game were
And
not
fumbling.
popular, but there were a few things that were seeming to disturb his newly reached audience.
Jane,
2014, 15, I'd say, like the peak of YouTube. Like YouTube's peak before the adpocalypse. Insane. Fucking this, if he would have stuck with this, I don't know the whole story, so I don't know like if he's still developing the game or if he quit it or not. So I don't know.
why? Why would I need that? Why? Oh, hey! Everyone
I don't know
knows
the
that
whole
if a
story
girl
yet.
wears white panties, she must be a pure and innocent angel. Something tells me I'm not. Whoa. This seems weird. Is this necessary to the game?
It's still in
Some leaned
development.
into the absurdity like PewDiePie.
Whoa, I'm in here now. I can what?
I can what?
You see why I say it's my favorite game? Because I can change my underwear. They're all dirty.
And it was not entirely that you could pick out panties for Ayano, the protagonist of Yandere Simulator, to wear. It was that taking panty shots of students was a mechanic that had one of his own videos removed.
What? That's funny.
Yandere Dev then explained that it is a core gameplay mechanic, but the gameplay can be played
Brother,
without
this isn't
utilizing
like-
it.
As it turns out, one of my videos has been removed as a violation of YouTube's policy on nudity or sexual content. You see, in that video, I was demonstrating a feature. I was demonstrating that it's possible to take panty shots of girls in Yandere Simulator. Now, taking panty shots actually has a gameplay purpose. If you take a panty shot, you can then send it to a character who will do favors for you in exchange for pictures of girls' underwear. This is a core gameplay mechanic.
Taking pictures of the
However,
taking the
in
otaku pictures.
2015, it was finally seeing utilization and therefore exposure to a larger audience.
That. Yes! Excellent. Now I have a picture of PP Osu's. Oh my god. PP Osu's panties. I owe you a favor for this one.
That video was age restricted. It could have been that, or the Easter egg that made the characters giant naked models as
Okay.
to mimic the Titans from the popular anime Attack on Titan. or
Great
it could have been
anime.
the showering in the school that would leave clouds to provide scant coverage of the player's body. YouTube and viewers alike saw it inappropriate to sexualize characters that are high school age. What most people wanted from this game was a mix of cute.
So everything that Japan does anyways.
The sexual implications were continuously frowned upon. This is a side Alex could not shake. Even on his Twitter, leaning more into what Little wanted, when tweeting, quote, "After I've grown old and retired, I'd like to live on a ranch. An anime girl breeding a ranch and die in a stampede."
Oh my
unquote.
god.
This has an attached image of anime girls in a pen. It was apparent that Alex was not melding well with his newfound popularity, and with audience members that did not share his constant, outward sexual desires. Quote, "The real question is, why am I making Yandere Simulator instead of making Waifu Raising and Breeding Simulator 2015? Unquote. As Alex continued to do things like this, his history as Ava Zephon was being exposed. At the same time, with
Is
his
Yandere
newfound
Dev a
popularity,
pedophile?
he began taking volunteers
Probably.
to help him develop the game. His communications with volunteers sometimes took the medium of emails. This became another issue when fans were using this as a way to reach Alex. In April, he created a post to address this. Quote, "Yesterday, I was unavailable to answer emails, and so my emails piled up. Today, I was answering emails from 8 a.m. until 12 midnight. I didn't even get to write code for the game today." Unquote.
Stop answering
Below,
emails.
he explains where emails are acceptable and unacceptable. Little did anyone know how big of an issue this would become. Before that, however, he was experiencing issues with every
Unity.
aspect of development, like battling with his inability to manage this new influx of volunteers. The complaints became so severe that he made a blog post to address his shortcomings, like the lack of communication via backed up emails and the building drama surrounding the project and him. To try to tackle the email backup, and after unsuccessfully deterring fan emails, he tried again in June 2015, restating what is and isn't acceptable reasons to email him. He also tried to create volunteer forms to help in formatting of emails in order to go through them faster. In this update in July, he threatened the development of the game by stating, quote, "I hate to say it, but it's looking extremely likely that I might not be able to implement very much new content into the game on July 15th, because I now spend 90% of my time writing emails
Stop
and
writing
10%
emails.
of my time writing code for the game."
Stop writing emails, get the fucking game done. Now, granted, this guy's getting a lot of attention. Right? From a bunch of people. You know, that's a it's a weird feeling when you're nobody and then everyone starts talking about your shit. That's how I felt anyways. It can get addicting and you want to satisfy them and try to answer questions. Not that I'm like fucking Billy Billionaire, you know, but getting that small amount of attention, like I was trying to answer a shit ton of comments and it was taking a lot of my time away. And I just realized like, hey, I got to stop doing this. Like it doesn't, like I can't reply to everyone. People are going to have opinions that differ from you, and people aren't going to like you, or people are going to like you. So
Unquote.
you just got to ignore that shit and get cracking on the game. And just writing emails is cope. If you want people to play your game, you need to make your game. If you just answer emails and never finish the game, it's clearly never going to come out. If that really is his reason. No, yeah, I agree. Yeah. So you write your game, you develop your game, and you put out updates, and you do devlogs. I think the issue with this community is that the issue with their community is he's not communicating with them. So, and communication doesn't mean answer emails singularly, right? Communication means put out something broadcasted so it reaches all of them. Because if you're writing to them individually, no one's going to see it, and you have more of a chance to fuck up. So put out a video explaining what's going on, ignore the emails, or just remove your fucking email from wherever it is, unless it's bugs. And if it's bugs, then write a bug tool. I have a bug tool in my game, and people can go in and if there's a bug, I encourage them to use the bug tool, and it sends it straight to my Trello. Now they can write whatever the fuck they want, but you know that shit's just easy to sift through. I'd be like, okay, that's bullshit, that's bullshit, that's bullshit. Because if it's anything other than what's wrong with the game, I'm fucking archiving it or deleting it. But no, I agree.
Readers were catching on to his ranting and gave suggestions. Have you ever thought about, like, just hiring someone or asking a volunteer?
You're making $4,000 a month. You could hire somebody. I mean, obviously this wasn't like your breadwinner, unless you quit your job and you know, now you're working on it full time. But if you're not, then you could hire someone.
Go through your emails. How about just
Fuck
having
the emails.
multiple emails?
Fuck the
One
emails.
for bugs, one for volunteers, and one for fan art.
Stop doing fan art.
Instead
What
of
the fuck
getting
does
a
fan art mean?
secretary, you could just make a dedicated.
The fact that this game was in production when I was 17 and I'm now 28, hearing the exact same story. I bet I could make the game.
Reports, unquote.
I bet I can make the game. I don't know, 2 years maybe. It looks the game. I'm gonna say the game doesn't look bad. The game, from the snippets I've just seen, the game does not look bad. It looks like a lot of shit was implemented in there. If I was to make this game, I'd make it super simple. And I wouldn't have like panty shot bullshit. It looks like he put a lot of mini games in there, but it also he overbloated it, which is the main thing. He overbloated it. If you want to keep adding features, fun fact: people made the exact same game in months just to show Yandere Dev he's lying. No shit. Can you link it?
These went ignored. Still in July.
I would make a base game. I would obviously, for a game this size, I would write a document out. And make sure I don't overblow the scope. Once I finished with that and the game is released, then I would gradually start adding updates. I would add updates to gameplay, adding mini games, adding all this and that, while adding new content. So you add a mini game, let's say you like the panty shot bullshit, maybe something else sneaking around and like little side missions, but you make that into another mission, like another level or like another area. That way you're not only like building onto the gameplay mechanics, but you're also building onto the game itself and story. I want to see the game. I want to see what other people have made.
Quote, even though I've been doing literally nothing but eating, sleeping, and reading emails for the past several days, I've still got dozens of emails remaining to answer, and I seem to be getting new ones at a faster rate that I can answer the old ones. So the pile keeps growing. Most of the emails that I'm replying to are several days old already.
Fuck emails.
Unquote. This came to a head at July 2015. Instead of
I love the link, but I only remember
recommendations
reading
or
about it
seeing
on 4chan years ago.
released a
More
video
than likely,
titled Emails, Volunteers,
will be talked
and
about in a
Progress,
documentary.
Part
Okay.
1.
I'm sorry.
Phantom Girl, what's going on? How you
I
doing?
don't have any new gameplay features to show you today.
I'm sorry.
You deserve to know the reason why. In order to tell you, I need to explain something first. I receive an extremely high volume of emails.
Bro, fuck the emails. The emails don't matter. That is 100% cope. Trixie, you're right. The dude to the fucking emails. I receive so many emails a day. I can't work on my game. This is crazy. I love Yandere Simulator. I'm still a fan of it, even though the game is still taking forever to finish. Well, I'm going to announce it right now. I'm going to be making a Yandere Simulator game. I'm going to make a Yandere Sim. Let me finish Samurai Stratagem. Oh, let me finish Idle Streaming Bonanza. By the way, Idle Streaming Bonanza releases on the 20th. And Samurai Stratagem will follow probably 2-3 months. Samurai Stratagem is a very simple game, very short game. That shouldn't take long to finish. I have a Steam page up for that already. How much for Idle game? $4.99. It'll be $4.99, and I'll have a 10% discount for the first week. And Idle Streaming Bonanza will have free updates. Every new character that I add is going to be free, so you don't have to buy that. You just update it. So any other character, there's no DLC. It just updates, and you'll have the new character. So, and then Samurai Stratagem is a short game, and that'll be on Steam soon. I'm waiting for the release of Idle Streaming Bonanza. But I'm going to make a Yandere game. My wife's been telling me to make one for 5 years. It seems like it's a good niche to make. People are hungry for it, so I'm gonna make it.
Emails every day, between 50 and 100. Most of these emails are essential.
I will get started on it this year.
Yandere Dev goes on to explain
You make an Easter egg where XQC's spoof has a roach in the corner. XQC spoof has a roach in the corner and refused to mention it's a reference to Pirate Bitchware. Yo, Pirates, irate software is in the game. Irate software is in the game. You can play as the cockroach. The cockroach is not going anywhere. I also added mod ability to the game, so you can put whatever fucking voice you want into the game. You can put whatever voice you want into the game. So I can't sell the game with anybody's voice in there, but you can take whatever voice you want from the internet or whatever voice you want, and you can mod the game yourself. I added that. I added that today. I'm still working on it. I have an issue with loading in Moki Payne's voice. Moki Payne's voices aren't popping off. Yeah, so I have it's a folder. I'll release a video on it sooner. I'll release a video on it soon showing how to mod it. But you look for the streaming assets folder, and inside that folder is the mods folder, and then you just plug in the voices where for the character. So you can add whatever fucking voice you want in there. Eventually, I will have workshop. I will have workshop for it, Steam Workshop. But it'll take longer than the 20th. Gonna play the demo. Idle games are my crack. Hell yeah, check it out. Yo, if you like idle games, man, like and you're savvy on them, please bug test for me. Bug test for me. I have a bug report in the game. You click right on it, it'll open up a separate game page, and it'll go right to my Trello. If you find a bug, log it. It helps me. I do appreciate it.
Time spent at Anime Expo consumed so much of his time, not a single line of code was added to the game. The controversial bit looks to have come from his dismissing of solutions to his email problems.
Dude's milking the pay piggies.
Yandere Dev, why don't you
Well,
just
boss,
hire
hey, do appreciate it, man. Thank you.
to filter your emails and
Hit my hand. That hurt.
For you.
Yandere Dev then details 5 points that are all sourced from a pre-developed image of an incompetent secretary, dismissing it entirely, even just for the possibility. He also gave an answer to the recommendation of having separate email accounts.
Why don't you just have 2 separate email accounts? One for volunteers and one for everything else.
What? No, that wouldn't help at all. I don't want to manage 2 separate email accounts.
Even the idea of a forum was dismissed.
So, anyway...
Yandere Dev! Why don't you make a forum where volunteers can post their progress and collaborate?
Okay, I guess I can see how you...
Don't do any of that. Just fucking work on your game and ignore everybody.
That would just be another place that I have to...
Just ignore everybody! No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that.
Supervise, so no.
First bug, not being a dick. It won't launch in 4K and refuses to let me even see main menu and demo. No shit. Okay, I don't have 4K monitors, so I don't know. The resolution on the game is 320 by 180, so that should scale up to 4K. I'll check on it. Do appreciate it. Thanks. Hey, just log it. I probably won't remember it tomorrow, man. But if you can post it in my Discord. Post it in my Discord saying it won't do that. All right.
Stubbornness and not exploring the recommended solutions was made clear.
I don't have a 4K monitor, so it's hard to test for that.
Made the second part where he states what kind of.
But 320 by 180, 320 by 180 scales all the way up to. I was able to fix by pressing Alt Enter when it tried to start into the window. I wish I knew how to make a video game. Yo, it is. There's so many ways to go. Oh man, I wish I had more time, man. Like I want to get through this, but hey, join the Discord if you got any questions about how to make a game. I will answer them. I'm telling you. Yeah, the time to start to now. The time to start is now. You're right, Kitty. There's so many tutorials. I mean, I could point you in the right direction. Like you could just learn C#, use Unity. If you want to use Godot, these things are free. You could use Game Maker Studios. You could use Scratch. Scratch is a very simple programming tool that you can use. There's also online websites. You know what? Here, I'm gonna post this. The video might be dated, it might be old, but if you have ideas about that you want to get out into the world, You can also make board games if you want to make board games, and you can do this online. People will play these games online. I'm gonna post this video. I made the video, but it kind of goes over some shit. Watch that. It'll kind of explain like how to make board games and like the websites to make board games and shit. Music that plays in the demo is really pretty. Did you make it yourself? No, I did not. I did not. I got that from YouTube. It was it's copyright free music. The links, whenever I do the full game, the credits will be in there and you can see it. I believe the name of the music is on there, so you can find it as well. It was like purple something. I don't remember, but you can find that on there. To be honest, game dev is like learning a language, but if you can put in the effort and apply yourself, you can start making games in no time. I agree 100%. It is a language. I mean, obviously like the programming language, but it's a you have to learn to. It does take a discipline, which is why I'm like giving this guy the benefit of the doubt. Besides his sexual deviancy bullcrap, like his game doesn't look bad. His game does not look bad. But it takes discipline to do this stuff because you have to learn animation, you have to learn pixel art if you're someone like me who does like 2D games, 3D animations unless you're or 3D modeling unless you're getting models off the internet. Programming, scenes, like learning how to do cinematics. Like there's a lot to do, but starting simple. Making the first game I made was a board game. The first game, if you watch that video, it shows. I show you one of the first games I made, which is a card game. It's a card game, and you can make games. You can make games out of like pieces of paper. Like write it down. Write your ideas down on paper. Make a card game on paper. It doesn't have to be like something super pretty. Sorry, I hit the mic. Yeah, it doesn't have to be something super pretty. It could be cardboard, paper, and just write it out, and then eventually start making your move. If you got a computer, there's so many tutorials, so many books, so many. It can be daunting to look at this stuff and be like, oh my god, I'm overflooded with information, but just look up beginner stuff, like how to make a 2D platformer. How to make a 2D platformer, just dive right in. I'm telling you, you can make it. Fun fact: most of the characters in Yandere Simulator are based off an anime. Characters. Did you know that? I did not know. I assume they're based off of Evangelion. Evangelion, is that how you say it? Evangelion. Angelin. I know he's like super into that.
I'm in this video to address his additions of Easter eggs. A different point of discontent that was controversial not just because of the volume, but also because they did not progress the game in
Piss off all the fans. That's fully.
Yeah.
That was controversial not just because of the volume, but also because.
Is that Resident Evil 8?
They did not progress the game in any way, and was more and more seeming to be implemented as YouTuber bait to continue ramping up interest rather than focus on progression.
Yandere dev.
Evangelion. Not a joke about pronunciation. Okay.
Why do you keep adding silly Easter
I never
eggs
watched
to the
that
game
one.
if your time is so limited?
What cheese? Oh, my bad. That was a thick moment for Resident Evil 8. Okay, all right. I played a little bit of it. I got past I think it was the dragon or the giant bat. I haven't beat it yet, though.
Stop putting Easter eggs in the game. It only takes me 30 seconds to add them anyway.
Yeah, stop putting them in.
Besides his conversation with Mike Ziamon,
stop putting them
it was
in.
more clear than ever that Alex was not prepared for success and the commitment it took
100%.
to make the game. He even laments in this video the displeasures the complications were adding.
I miss the old days. Back when I didn't get dozens of emails every day. Back when I had enough spare time to actually write code for the game. back when I didn't have to worry about disappointing any donators.
This is a
Because
common
they're
thing with
willing
people who
donators.
don't handle
Back when I
success
didn't
well,
worry about artwork
or just
and
people who get
needed to
successful
write
really
cubes
quick,
for everything.
or popular
Back
really
when
quick.
I actually
Kurt
had
Cobain
time
went
to
through the
watch
same thing.
anime and play video games. It was so easy and fun to work on the game back then. What happened? Where did I go wrong?
Regardless, this video does end on a positive note. His time
You
spent
okay?
not writing code was spent organizing volunteers that were progressing the game.
Even though I haven't been writing code, I've been receiving character designs, new models, new animations, planning story events, establishing rules, gathering reference footage, and more. In other words, tons of progress is still being made on the game.
He estimated the game was currently...
Yandere, do you have the same thing about cyberbullying applies to answering emails, turn off the monitor, don't check it, don't look at it? Yeah, same. Maybe a jaded take? No, you're 100% right. It's not being jaded. That's 100% right. You don't like seeing what's on the... Like, go outside, touch grass. If you go outside, no one knows who the fuck you are. You go outside, talk to a random person out, out in your community, they're not gonna know who you fucking are. It's just bullshit Twitter, bullshit Reddit, bullshit fucking internet. It's crap. Go outside and fish. You'll feel 100% better.
8% complete. For the next couple
I did not open the salsa.
months, the game progressed with some regular updates and many bug fixes. More and more, there were different methods.
Shove that bitch over. Wah! He took the shoes.
It was eerily similar to the Hitman game series, where the game awards a player for setting up
Drown them in the
complicated and
toilet.
sneaky
Let's go.
kills for its targets. Yandere Dev, taking inspiration from this game, sought to implement more and more.
Fish are scary? Nah, fish are great. What are you talking about? Well, I'm telling you, the best feeling in the world is hooking a bass and reeling it in, and that fight with the bass. Oh my god, it's so fucking fun. It is so fun.
Enough to where the player could naturally discover them through experimentation.
I just got into fishing. Like, I just got into it. I've been doing it for like, I've tried to fish. Like, I fished when I was a kid. Like, don't get me wrong, but I like got seriously into it over the past month. Like, I went out and bought a new rod, like a bait caster, and a bunch of different like actual lures, and I've been catching bass like fucking every day. It is so fun. To be fair, Yandere Dev will notice him so much more just because of the memes. The cum chalice meme made his face so popular. Jesus.
Rather than need to rely on guides.
The
Like
milk
Hitman
chalice.
Series, Yandere Simulator was aiming to be a semi-sandbox game that gives players slack and rewards them for how they approach increasingly complex puzzles. At this point in development, deeper mechanics required implementation, where updates prior were new additions, like you saw. Now less impactful but necessary things had to be added, like changing the school environment when too many students were assassinated, and a plethora of realistic and diverse reactions from students and other parties.
Stabbing right in front of people.
Awry. The sandbox element was going to need to cater to all play styles and find ways to reward and punish players for those that go the route of bullying rivals, for example. Here, you can manipulate the school's social atmosphere, and that itself requires tremendous work. This also adds skills and other RPG elements like stats and being able to join clubs added onto the complexity. Not to mention that it was unsure how rivals or the love interest of the boy the Yandere girl was infatuated with would be added. Other elements, like adding a roster of unique students with some shared traits, was expanding the game tremendously, adding more work to be done. With this in mind, Yandere Dev kept making the mistake of estimating when the game would be complete. Now, in October 2015, in this Twitter post, he set an expectation of it taking 10 months to complete the default story, and possibly 1 month per
Bullshit!
rival. As updates slowed in accommodation of coding its in-depth mechanics, Yandere Dev continued his war on emails, sometimes passively, like this video where Ayano is going around seeking her love interest.
Have you seen my senpai?
I haven't seen anything all day. I'm too busy writing emails to Yandere Dev to waste his time with stupid questions.
You should stop that.
Then directly in several blog posts and another video.
I work faster
100% code.
less email. So, if you want Yandere Simulator's development to proceed faster, please read this blog post about what kind of email you should not send me.
His first update of 2016, while sizable, left crumbs to later be discovered. Painfully so. Quote, I didn't expect Yandere Simulator's development to last this long. I think that this is a good time to make a video announcing how many features remain, how long it will take to implement those features, how I plan to secure funding, and how people can help out." Unquote. Yandere Dev did make that video, expressing that with a shallower concept, Yandere Simulator could have been finished much earlier.
I intended to make a simple game that could be developed by one man working alone.
That's scope.
I expected the game to be finished by December 2014. As I worked on the game, I received lots of cool suggestions and began expanding the scope of the game.
Yep.
The game evolved from something that one man could create in 8 months.
Save it for the updates.
To something that required a team of people. With each passing month, the game's design became even more complex.
Without guarantee and only estimation, Yandere Dev in this video made the naive mistake of setting goalposts.
So, if it takes me 6 months to implement all of the remaining elimination methods, and 6 months to implement all of the remaining Kickstarter criteria, then the Kickstarter would be ready about 12 months from now, in January 2017. If the Kickstarter is released 1 year from now, that means that the full version of Yandere Simulator won't be finished until 2019.
I did not open this also.
3 years from now.
By setting this deadline,
That's the old one.
Yandere Dev sowed the seeds of discontent that could flourish in the absence of a final product. Now, more than ever, people were following his outline of required additions for his Kickstarter that, if released, would fast-track development of the game. For this you needed all club buffs functional, all panty buffs functional, all school subjects buffs functional, all school locations implemented, new attack animations, an intro cutscene, protagonist customization, sound effects for everything that should make a sound, side note that should only take 1 day, a guidance counselor who will punish you for misbehaving, a rival girl who interacts with senpai multiple times throughout the week, a cutscene where the rival confesses her love to senpai, NPCs that follow a proper Japanese school schedule, NPCs that react properly to corpses, blood, weapons, dismembered limbs, screams, etc. At least 5 different personality types for NPCs, snap mode. All of this was meant to take 6 months. The other 6 months were dedicated to the rest of the elimination methods. So in all, he...
Rookie mistake, like setting goalposts like that, especially if you don't know how long it's going to take. You can't just like throw something on there like this is going to take 2 weeks because you have no idea how long it's going to take. You may run into something that you have no idea how to fix. You know what I mean? Usually stuff like that, like for work we do that, but we give it a very generous, like we have work items and we give it a very generous timestamp. Unless it's like something super simple, and we usually put just 8 hours on it. Yeah, don't do this, especially because like your community knows nothing about programming or games. Like some of them might, but others won't, and they'll take that shit as a literal, and then they'll get all pissy.
He had 1 year to do all this.
Also, guys, Roachware Jam 2025. Go check it out on itch.io. I'm hosting a game jam. It should be in the description of this video. A link should go to it. If you're interested, there's going to be a cash prize if you win first place, and all of your games will be reviewed on stream. Yeah, Roachware Jam 2025. Go check it out.
On his side was the
Starts on the
advertising
20th.
machine that came from other content creators. PewDiePie had released 10 videos on the game, counting in the tens of millions of views. Markiplier was on video 5, yet played as much as PewDiePie considering his videos were longer. Yandere Dev now even had his own media presence. His channel in January breached 400,000 subscribers. So far, every time his Patreon
That's
dipped
good.
his supporters and
That's
made
good.
an immediate recovery, with it hovering 4,000 to 5,000 daily. This irregularity, this crowdfunding via support of the creator and not a direct Kickstarter to a game, placed Yandere Dev in the top 10 most funded games via Patreon. The YouTube community was doing as much as it could, with supporters watching closer than ever the importance of the January update, as Yandere Dev was sticking to bi-monthly updates, once at the first of the month and once at the 15th, was superbly important to demonstrate a work ethic and progress support that could hit all goals.
First and 15th of the month, that's good.
There was a minor hiccup before the update, with him wanting to rename the game Lovesick, as a direct translation of Yandere to English. But due to backlash, it went nowhere, as players love the charm of the now widely recognized term. This and another post telling people not to email him came right before his progress report 2 weeks into 2016. It was lackluster to say the least, only bug fixes with the sting of yet another Easter egg, Sans mode. Adding Sans from the popular indie game Undertale without the approval or even knowledge of the creator of the game, but later amended that the creator did end up giving permission. As for the update, Yandere dev even stated, quote, "Yikes, what an embarrassing changelog. Hopefully I'll have a much more impressive one on February 1st, unquote. Little did he know
Stop adding
there
Easter
would be
eggs.
an important development before then.
Yes,
save it for the
that's
last.
Right. Broadcasting Yandere Simulator on Twitch may result in your account being suspended. So, why was Yandere Simulator banned? Was it the bullying, kidnapping, torture, suicide, or perhaps the panty shots?
Ooh, can I play this on stream?
I don't know. Twitch won't tell me.
With Yandere dev unaware on why the game was banned and how to modify it to get it unbanned, perhaps by making the game less lewd with certain Easter eggs or increasing the bubble coverage, there was one mechanic.
I love the bad time Easter egg, my favorite one.
If Twitch has a problem with panty shots, then we have a serious issue. Because I'm not going to remove any features from the game just so that Twitch will...
Streamer ready to cover the loose stuff? Okay.
Twitch was hardly the only one pushing back against this game and its mechanics. Still, in January,
Twitch ain't got no
Yandere
fucking room to
dev
talk
on Tumblr
nowadays.
made a blog post directed towards a single person that he only called N. Quote,
Yeah, I've seen
"This
people play Yandere
individual,
Simulator
who
on
I
stream,
will
okay.
refer to as N, expressed her belief that Twitch chose to ban broadcast of Yandere Simulator because it contains sexualized underage characters." Unquote. Yandere dev, from this, creates a massive blog post attempting to back his argument that there are no underage characters in sexual situations in Yandere Simulator. This goes from trying to defend his game to N, accusing Yandere dev of being a redacted, then takes the blog post in an unexpected direction with Yandere dev insulting N by stating that, quote, "This should have been my cue that N completely lacked even the slightest degree of reading comprehension skill, because I had just explained that someone who passed the age of consent is not magically ready for sex just because they had a certain number of birthdays."
Oh
I
my
pointed out
God.
that there are many people under the age of 18 who had sexual experiences without being traumatized. She had demanded to know if I would
Development
permit a
slows,
14-year-old to
tiny
have
build
sex
in
with a grown
emails.
man if the 14-year-old had passed the sex license test that I proposed. Well, obviously, if there's a test that objectively proves that a person is ready for sex, and a person passes that test, then that person is objectively ready for sex. This is simple logic, but N lacked the mental capacity to figure this out for herself. Unquote. Defending the possibility of sexual relations between a minor and an adult
What
under
the
any
fuck did he just say?
is simple if and without being traumatized. I pointed out that there are many people under the age of 18 who had sexual experiences without being traumatized. She had demanded to know if I would permit a 14-year-old to have sex with a grown man if the 14-year-old had passed the sex license test that I proposed. Well, obviously, if there's a test that objectively proves that a person is ready for sex, and a person passes that test, then that person is objectively ready
What an idiot, dude. That is the dumbest shit ever.
for sex. This is simple logic, but N lacked the mental capacity to figure this out for herself.
The mental capacity. God, this guy is fucking dumb.
Unquote. Defending the possibility of sexual relations between
The
a minor
irony.
and an adult under any circumstances was not a good look on Yandere dev. This blog post, without aim, full of spiteful language and unfavorable concepts, may have received support from his fans, but again, like with Ava Zephon, he was unwittingly planting seeds of discontent to be later discovered. As for right now, Yandere Simulator being the 26th game ban from Twitch rang alarm bells. If marketing brought this much attention to the game and its Patreon, would the lack of it see an inverse in funding? With foresight, we see that the ban did not affect the game's funding whatsoever. It could have harmed the potential roof for funding, but Yandere dev's Patreon remained at a steady $4,000 to $5,000 a month. As
That's
February
good.
rolled over, Yandere dev preemptively released another progress report, making steady progress by adding necessary character traits and updated some clubs the character could join.
If it seems like there aren't very many new features in this build, it's because
Bro, like $4,000 to $5,000 in what, 2015? That's damn good. That's damn good.
I didn't have much time to work with. I spent around 7 days optimizing and fixing some very inefficient code that had been bothering me for a long time. I still wish I could spend even more time optimizing the code and trying to improve the frame rate. but I don't want to let too much time
Optimization's
pass
a bitch.
without adding significant new features
Frame
to
rate.
the game.
The
Dealing with frame
subtext
rate's a
here is
bitch.
that Alex is feeling the pressure to continue updating the game, but has finally hit the wall placed by his rapid and inefficient coding, admitting to spending his time pushing updates rather than preparing the game for its upcoming complex mechanics. In March, there were more additions to clubs, some moving around assets. Overall development still remained steady, and Alex continued his tirade against emails. In April, he was finally ready to talk on what he deems the biggest obstacle in development.
If this one obstacle could be removed, I would have much more time to work on the game, and the game's development would go by much faster. The problem is email.
He then states he sometimes goes through his emails 8 to 12
He's
hours
still
a day.
on the email
After stating
bullshit?
what emails he does not want to receive, he goes on to show what kind of volunteers he does not want. He then states the same reasons he won't explore potential solutions like getting a secretary.
The only emails I check to make sure I'm not getting fucking sued again.
or making separate emails.
Stop right there. After 2 years of this nonsense, I've already heard every single possible suggestion about how I can solve my email problem. There is no idea that you could possibly suggest that I haven't already shot down. So don't send me your brilliant ideas for how to solve my email problems, because it's not going to work.
A criticism that Alex has seen time and time again
Still email
wasn't
BS.
so much about Yandere
Yes, the
Simulator
sentence
or
everyone
even
has
the
said for the
emails.
10
It
years
was
plus,
his
really.
melodramatic nature. With the connection between Yandere Dev and AvaZeph unclear, with his continued
that's a good
usage
game.
of the AvaZeph website, his history as an anime-loving incel shut-in, and moments like the time he announced his intent to make a successful indie game to outshine Mike Ziamond had people believe Alex never stopped using anime as a reference to reality.
Where's that from?
Perhaps to him, this is his manga, and he is the protagonist against all these fools dragging him down. Hence the melodrama and this section that closed out his email video.
You know, there was a point in time when I was a very nice and patient person, but working on this game for the past 2 years has been very stressful, and it has sucked all of the niceness out of me. I no longer have any patience left.
Ever since his increase in popularity, while opinionated, Alex has kept his personal developments and
Don't tell me your ideas about the mail problem. In other words, if you tell me how to fix my problem, I won't have an excuse. Yeah, pretty much. The biggest fix is to not look at it and just continue working on your game. He was already updating like everybody on the 1st and the 15th, which I think is that was a good strat. That was a good fucking thing. Like you're posting what's going on the 1st and 15th of every month of development. That's great. Mass communication. Don't worry about single responses. The single response is going to kill you. Because then you start second guessing yourself. You just need to keep going ahead with your document. I think the biggest thing is he's taking too much from his community. That being said, there is good things to take from a community, and then there is bad things to take from a community. If you're asking community for advice, there's certain things that you want to do. You want to cater the advice to what you want. So like a poll, you take a poll or a vote, be like, hey, there's a few different directions I want to go in. What kind of direction? What are you guys leaning more towards? Not a open battle royale of like, hey, you should do this, you should do that, you should do this. It should be like, okay, here are 3 options. Like, I want to take my game in A direction, B direction, C direction. What do you guys think? That's a little bit more manageable, and you're not getting a shit ton of emails. It's just a vote. They get their vote, which is just a number on a screen. You're like, okay, looks like I'm going this way.
Shortcomings to himself, opting to keep those private, but inadvertently and publicly signal his lack of social improvement and or adaptation to his new role. As for Yandere Simulator, he was seeing issue not with the lack of updates, but issue with trying to expand, to add more and more to a fanbase that is shown to dislike major changes in gameplay and a focus on panties or sexualizing characters in game. In June alone, he pitched a beat-em-up feature to the game that due to backlash, he quickly withdrew, and later in the month, an inventory system where Yana opens her dress, revealing the items kept within. Taking the center of the screen would be her panties. This was also scrapped. These ideas, mainly the sexual ones, are the ones that may deviate from what is considered acceptable.
That was a funny idea. That was a good
idea. That was a good idea. Boards, something that he was being ridiculed by frequently. Mid-2016, Yandere Dev went to Anime Expo and interacted with fans. Here, he was seeing the concentrated cultural impact of his game. With a crowd surrounding him, he saw people cosplaying as his characters. He was getting gifts and attention. 8chan was quick to discuss a video showing this, saying that Yandere Dev sold out.
You're kind of scuffed if you're wearing your own shirt. That's kind of weird.
Quote, okay, I'm going to look at the facts here. Go to Reddit. Everyone behaves in a civil manner. It's possible to have constructive discussion about the game. Go to Anime Expo. Everyone is nice, friendly, enthusiastic. People want to hug me, shake my hand, take selfies. Go to 4chan/8chan. Everyone is bitter, cynical, pessimistic. Everyone just shitpost and calls me a redacted, a sellout, and an SJW. You know what? That's it. I'm done. You guys aren't worth it. You guys fucking suck. You could have had a developer at your beck and call, making a game custom tailored to your exact taste.
That's the issue, custom tailored.
You bet the hand that feeds you. Now I don't want to have anything to do with you anymore. Fuck all of you. Go to hell. Unquote. As it is.
You know it's bad when 8chan has that many replies on a thread. I have never used 4chan. What is 8chan? Is that the same shit?
Is Yandere Dev, one could expect further lashing out. In a reply to a Reddit post, he specifies that Reddit is now his platform of choice because he feels they rarely criticize him and cater to providing feedback to the game. Also in July, he posted a diagram showing how he spends his time. In here,
is that a place I should post idle streaming bonanza?
45% complete, unquote. Also providing examples of other indie games with long development time.
Is 4chan like Reddit's opposite? Or is that Kiwi Farms? Like, what is the opposite of Reddit? Because Reddit's something else.
Upwards of 5 years. These two together were, for the time, impressive. He jumped from 8% complete to 45% in about a year. Following this pace,
I feel like Kiwi Farms is just the dark side. Like, Kiwi Farms is just the dark side. I think Reddit outside is the anti-Reddit. Yeah, I feel you. Yeah. So I want to know what 4chan is. Like 4chan, like gray? You got your gray Jedi, the white Jedi, and the dark side. You know, they're dark Jedi. Dark Jedi.
The game should be done in around a year or two. Not included in this chart are his angry rants found wherever he is, directed towards anyone that gives
Kiwi
criticism.
Farms is closest opposite to Reddit,
friend
okay.
or foe, or just modders.
Apparently I'm fairly liked on Kiwi.
As discovered.
But I feel like they prop me up as a poster boy, and I don't know if I like that or not. I'm bittersweet on it.
And posted by content creator Stickman when using a mod, in this case one that changes the size.
I don't even have an account there.
This text,
but they started posting about my game since the pirate software bullcrap.
Up on the screen that reads, quote, sorry YouTuber, but you have to stop using this stupid mod. People keep reporting bugs that can only occur due to the use of this mod. I don't want to receive emails about bugs that only occur when the player uses a mod, so I have to prevent this mod from being able to function. Blame the people who are stupid enough to submit bug reports because of a mod, unquote. After Stickman uploaded the video with the secret text, Yandere Dev comments on the video, quote, no, you can fuck right off. You've got absolutely no clue what you're talking about, you fucking dumbass, unquote. It is unknown what triggered such a strong response from Yandere Dev, as the original video is gone, but not the archive of his comment that became the topic of a Reddit post several months later. It is here that Yandere Dev defends his actions. Quote, that guy made me really angry, so I gave him a piece of my mind. I don't think that there is much more to say, unquote. The responses of support.
Kiwi was kind to you. I just used it to keep up with locales and Cyrax, but I won't make an account. Yeah, I don't have an account. I don't think that's how you go about it. What do you mean that's how you go about it? Oh, I already forgot, dude. I'm not gonna lie. Can you explain that?
And the dislike ratio in Stickman's video
I'm feeling it, Mr. Krabs.
Was largely supportive of Yandere Dev, their knowledge likely limited to his curated friendly persona seen on his channel. However, as Yandere Dev was becoming more and more aggressive,
making people not report bugs that are from a mod. Making people not report bugs that are from a mod.
With only fucking dumbass, unquote. It is unknown what triggered such.
Did I miss something? I'm sorry.
response from Yandere Dev, as the original video is gone, but not the archive of his comment that became the topic of a Reddit post several months later. It is here that Yandere Dev defends his actions. Quote, "That guy made me really angry, so I gave him a piece of my mind. I don't think that there is much more to say," unquote. The responses of support and the dislike ratio in Stickman's video show that the community was largely supportive of Yandere Dev, their knowledge likely limited to his curated
My wife is playing
personas
Fortnite.
seen on
Sorry.
his channel. However, as Yandere Dev was becoming more and more aggressive, with only minor backlash, in the background there was building opposition, consisting of readers following only the drama around Yandere Dev. Similarly, ex-fans turned detractors and ex-volunteers that left for a multitude of reasons were added as well. Some have a more nuanced look on Alex, stating
I don't think there's much more to say. Proceeds to say much more.
he has an inflated ego and is poor at communication. Others, like Wunkalo, who left the project in 2015, among the previously presented issues, had ideological conflicts with the Yandere Dev and even some of the team. Quote, "When I left the team and pointed out his ways and the discomfort I had in his future visions for the game, he defended his stances and claimed his entire dev team was a team full of perverts."
He's a pervert
and took his
himself.
stance of
What the
being
fuck?
a proud pervert.
Oh, okay.
Some excerpts. "I'm a perverted sexual deviant, and I absolutely love to perv on sexy video game girls and anime girls. That's a core part of who I am, and I'll openly, publicly, and eagerly state that fact absolutely anywhere. The 2D artist I'm working with regularly draws women in extremely lewd outfits. The 3D character modeler I'm working with enjoys modeling sexy young women very much. I've already found 5 other perverts. Now I just need to find one."
It sounds like a good dev team. Jesus Christ. Oh, being a perv is bad unless you are proud of it. Yeah.
"Can model props environments," unquote. While these and other lengthy Tumblr posts that archived images of Alex's content.
This is the same guy who doesn't like, shit. I think he was saying, like, promiscuous women. Like, he doesn't like promiscuous women. He likes, innocent. I mean, that's still, like, I think he's just mimicking what, obviously, like, what Japan thinks of women. You know what I mean?
Dev brought attention to Alex and his behavior, the disjointed critics, criticisms that are subjective rather than objective, and the steady progress the game was making did nothing to his Patreon that remained at $5,000 a month. On YouTube, he even hit 1 million subscribers, and in October he placed a new emphasis on the purpose of the game, one that is at the center of it. While creators seem to enjoy the wildness the game offers, the vision Yandere Dev had on the note of the Hitman game series was adding select targets that increased in difficulty as the game progressed. And so finally the premise and scope of the game was set. Ayano, the Yandere girl, is an emotionless brick, an entity that is brought to life following a bumping into her love at first sight, her senpai. But she notices this person is quite popular. The game will encompass 10 weeks at Ayano's school. Every week, senpai gets a new love interest. Ayano has to then sabotage this love prospect before it turns into a relationship. 10 weeks means 10 rivals. Now the first rival was announced, a different trope, a tsundere with distinct orange hair and polka dot thigh-high socks. This rival, this first love interest and competitor, was simply known as Osana.
That makes you weird, 100%.
The importance of this character was to set order, and a system to advance the game properly. Yandere Dev understood this and stated this exactly in his video.
"When you try to take down Osana, I want you to feel like you're experiencing a demonstration of what the final game will be like, not just killing a test subject in a glitchy debug sandbox. When Osana is implemented, I want you to feel like one of the final pieces of the puzzle has clicked into place, instead of feeling like Yandere Simulator is still a giant incomplete puzzle that is missing most of its pieces. I do not want to release a build that has a half-functional Osana. So, once I begin working on implementing Osana,
who's making the characters for this?
New builds until Osana is 100% functional. Considering everything that is required to add Osana to the game, that could take at least 1 month.
This was an amazing announcement. The first complex and truly unique character beyond Ayano and her senpai was being introduced. A character that would be the center of gameplay for 7 in-game days full of its own elimination tactics, animations, voice acting, cutscenes, and other ways to sabotage her would-be relationship. All of this was going to take, as Yandere Dev stated, 1 month.
I don't want to release half build of Osana, but I will release half-ass build for a decade.
The next big addition to the game is Osana, the first official rival. I've made a lot of progress towards adding her to the game. However, it could be another month or 2 months until she's complete.
But a month went by and no Osana. An additional 2 weeks and still no Osana. There was a new mode added, but in this update, Alex stated he was taking time off for the next 2 weeks. This means no progress towards Osana. What was Alex concerning himself with if not speeding up the development of this important character?
Markiplier hadn't made a new Yandere
Sim
in 5 months.
A few days ago, I realized that Markiplier hadn't made a new Yandere Sim video in 5 months. That made me feel kind of nervous. Did I do something wrong? Does he hate the game now? I was very happy to learn
put some
he was
fucking
putting
content
together
out, bro.
another Yandere Simulator video, unquote. This tells much about Alex, because the way this reads and Alex's prior emphasis on content creators' videos confirms this validation. To be self-isolating with no sense of self, to then be an overnight success.
The only thing that makes me uncomfortable in Yandere Simulator is how 2 of the rivals are grown women have a crush on a schoolboy. I agree, however, that is a big thing in Japan's game/anime, probably because of age and consensus lore there. Probably.
Must have felt insanely rewarding. One could only imagine that feeling and a fear of losing that high, now threatened by creators losing interest, brought on by loss of novelty and meaningful updates. A lack of Osana.
I've never played the game, so I don't know yet.
This, as well as the lack of complete mechanics, he needed to publish a Kickstarter.
Originally,
how much of the game is finished? Like how much hour-wise? Like what do y'all get out of it hour-wise?
My personal goal was to implement Osana before January 1st, but this is no longer likely to happen. I underestimated how long it would take for all of Osana's necessary assets to be created. To make this process
1 to 2?
faster,
Damn.
I should have requested the assets months in advance. This is something that I will take into consideration when planning future
matchmaking? What the fuck?
It's very unlikely that any rival girl will take as long to implement as Osana has taken.
In this new calendar, it shows his plan to release the Kickstarter has moved to April.
You have to restart your computer? Baby? Did you have to restart your computer? Why?
Osana has been moved to February of 2017. Osana has now been delayed 4 months
retracted
past
message.
the original deadline.
Over the past year, I've been struggling with a problem. On January 21st, 2016, Yandere Simulator was added to Twitch TV's list of prohibited games.
Yeah,
Alex,
we
now
know.
a year to the the more passive one of a similarly strong army nature.
Bad publicity. All publicity is good publicity.
Video gets enough attention. Eventually, someone at Twitch will see it. They will notice how many views it's getting, and they will say, "Oh my god, we need to fix this problem right away."
A week later, after realizing the problem with his solution of besmirching Twitch's image to repair relations, he released another video explaining his mistakes, taking the perspective of Twitch and why they would have possibly banned Yandere Simulator. It wasn't until February that he got a response from Twitch, giving him the exact reason the game
making something banned only increases the value of it.
Game was banned.
2 gameplay modes depicting characters in the nude, a mechanic in which the player takes panty shots to use as currency for favors from others. The only method of eliminating rivals was
Takes me 1 hour to play Yandere Simulator only because it has 2 rivals in the game so far. 100%. Okay.
to murder them. The setting, intent of gameplay, and age of victims indicate the game is about violence against and sexual harassment of underage characters in a school setting.
Twitch also explains that even with the removal of these features, the game may remain banned because the game is still in development, and those mechanics imply that the perverse nature of the game would be expanded on, so Twitch acted preemptively. They are willing to give it a second look, but only after the game is feature complete.
In the future, as Yandere Simulator becomes feature complete, we would be happy to review it again.
The game was still lacking all of its 10 rivals and had not included the first one. Yandere Dev made sure to keep adding salt to this thrashed wound. Twitch was hardly the only one pressing Yandere Dev.
Guys, I might skip around this section. It's getting pretty late, but I might skip around this email bullshit. I see some tiny build stuff. The community turns. We'll watch that. ban speedruns and memification. Yeah, we'll watch that too.
For a release date or for faster development. That's why mid-February, right after the Twitch debacle, Yandere Dev explains in 2 videos that the ever-expansive scope of the game, combined with his inexperience and burnout, is what is causing the delays. A solution he brings forward is having an experienced company take over.
I've already been approached by multiple companies who have expressed an interest in getting involved with Yandere Simulator's development in exchange for a cut of the game's profits. They've proposed deals that involve me giving up 50% of the game's
50%? Fuck
or
that.
losing ownership of the game's intellectual property,
No.
or removing certain features from the game. These terms are all very unappealing to me.
Another solution was to eliminate stress by downgrading the game's development to just a hobby by closing its Patreon. This could lower the overall controversy surrounding the project if Alex stepped away, yet he is equally reserved.
But all of my fans would hate me. Someone else would develop a Yandere-themed game to take the place of my game.
Yeah.
I would fade from memory, and all of the work I've done over the past 3 years would be for nothing.
As Alex
Welcome
was
to
increasingly
capitalism,
exposing,
man.
he views the game as more than something to be developed. He sees it as an achievement that validates him. Holding his work this close would
There's
not
a need
do
in the
well.
market,
For
you need to
now,
fill it.
accompanying this video was a poll. The options were to keep doing what he has been doing, downgrade development to a hobby, begin working with a company, or launch a crowdfunding campaign. The popularity of the choices were also in that order, as voters wanted Yandere Dev to continue his method of development regardless of the Osana delays. Alex believes that he may have swayed the poll by framing companies as greedy. With this line of thinking, in March, he decided to start working with a company, even though it only got 8% of the votes on the poll.
Tiny Build. You may recognize them as the publisher of Hello Neighbor and numerous other games. Eventually, we reached an agreement that I was happy with, and I decided to enter a partnership with them. Don't be worried. I'll retain full ownership of the Yandere Simulator intellectual property. I'll have full creative control over the game. I'll have the final say on all merchandising decisions. They can't exploit the product in any way that goes against my wishes, and no deadlines have been set in stone.
Yandere Dev believes this new partnership to be favorable, with some added benefits like being able to smooth over Twitch, untangling his spaghetti code with inefficient codebase, and primarily speeding up development. As Yandere Dev did with his video, Tiny Build announced this partnership on Twitter. The results were mixed. It was not that fans were displeased that Alex was working with Tiny Build, but that Tiny Build was associating with Alex. Some of the replies read, quote, "Hey at Tiny Build, I respect a lot of the work you do for the GDQ events and other indie devs, but this is probably a really bad idea.
Yeah.
Fucking love it. The guy with 5,000 monthly needs another business to invest partially and still wants volunteer work. Have fun working with a redacted on his anime goat killing simulator." Unquote. The benefit of speedy development could not happen soon enough. Now, April of 2017, Osana was officially 5 months past its original deadline. Updates came mostly in the form of bug fixes and some additions that were mostly related towards visuals and polish. Mixed with
Imagine if a deadline was enforced, we might have a full game by now. Yeah, 100%.
How other areas of the game desperately needed more attention.
When getting into bed with a publisher, those are things that need to be established, and I think Tiny Build kind of like after the success of Hello Neighbor, maybe they were trying their best with did Tiny Build the Hello Neighbor? Let me make sure before I start talking bullshit. Oh. Tiny Build could just be a publisher. Dynamic Pistols. Okay. Okay, yeah, they're just a publisher. Yeah, when getting into bed with a publisher, where am I at? You want to like the publisher's gonna make sure that you have I'm surprised that they didn't make sure that he had milestones that he had to hit. A projected release date, like something like not set in stone, but like, hey, the game's gonna be finished around this time. Usually like to get paid, publishers, like they'll be like, hey, you're gonna get $100,000 But to get that, you're gonna have to do milestones. So like every 3 months, you'll have to be like, okay, this is what I got done for the game, and they'll review it and be like, okay, here's your money.
And then the first
yeah.
rival, but also showed some progress towards her completion. This was the case for June, July, August, September, and October. In this month came the first update, not related to Yandere Simulator per se, but to Watashi no Mono, a game inspired by Yandere Simulator. It looks like Alex was getting competition. Now in November, it is the anniversary of what was meant to be Osana's release date.
I think it was a mistake to put so much emphasis on Osana. This created the impression that Osana was my one and only priority, which wasn't the case at all. I've made tons of changes and additions to the game over the past year, and it would be a shame if I'm judged solely on whether or not I'm making progress on Osana from week to week.
His framing of Osana moving the game forward was a mistake. The same could also be said about this recent stream of Alex playing the video game Cupheads.
That's the game I was talking about. What, Hello Neighbor or Cuphead?
Things were not adding up. This frustration,
Love Cuphead.
Alex addressing the
He-Man,
decrease
man.
of the game's popularity as an equalization to the sudden jump it
I've
got,
had those moments,
and
man.
the lack of progress despite the onboarding of a company. In 2016, the game was supposedly 45% complete, but at the start of 2018, it was still less than 50% complete. The explanation for this could
No,
be
the
found
Yandere
on
Dev
its
plan?
Discord,
Okay.
where in February of 2018, Yandere Dev stated, quote, "In March 2017, I was ready to bring another programmer on board. After I made a YouTube video stating that it needed programming assistance, over 20 plus professional programmers contacted me and offered to help. At the same time, TinyBuild offered
20
to get
plus
me the help
programmers.
I needed. So I told the 20 plus programmers, don't worry, I'll get the help I need from my new publisher, TinyBuild, and turned down their
Jesus,
offers. Then I waited
stupid.
8 plus months for TinyBuild to get me the help I needed. Things didn't work out, so now I'm back to searching for programmer assistance. I'm currently having multiple very promising conversations with potential programming volunteers, but nothing is set in stone yet. In a timeline where I had never signed up with TinyBuild, I would have gotten other programmers on board about 1 year ago." Unquote. March, April, and May was more the same. Bug fixes after bug fixes with very few additions. And Yandere Dev was reluctant to talk about TinyBuild. In this screenshot, he stated, quote, "I have nothing to say about it at this point in time, but hopefully one day in the future I'll be able to say
they
something."
fucking gave him
unquote.
the boot.
There has always been tension with Alex and his audience. It has been stretched, but never strained as it was now. Between Osana, questions relating to TinyBuild, the emails, and the recycling of his most controversial moments, Alex was going to snap, and it was going to be soon.
Excellent. The latest build and video are finished.
Bro, the biggest thing is, oh man, it sucks to see it, but like, I mean, the overscope of the game, you should have kept it simple, and just released it on time. Literally, this is just a story, like, sexual deviancy aside, this is a story of overscope, and his game got too popular, and he's relying too much on his community, and asking too many questions on what he should and put it into his game, and just overscope big time.
Finished uploading. Time to release them for the world to see. I hope that everybody likes the latest feature. I think I'll read the comments and see what people are saying.
Where's Osana? Why isn't Osana done yet? When will you work on Osana? Osana! 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 Osana!
Yeah.
And
to
We're gonna skip
refactor certain
a little
aspects of
bit.
the code, but in a subreddit, he made it to, quote, "be able to discuss the game in a civil environment that is free from hostility and drama," unquote. Immediately, he was set on banning those in this newly established subreddit in opposition to him.
It's time to speedrun. See how
The
quick you can get
speedrun.
banned.
Oh. Banned on what?
Go. Upload.
banned immediately. What'd he post?
Upload.
Why? It doesn't even like. That's terrible. That's not even a fucking. His
That
Discord,
was a
yeah.
June 2018 banned speedrun a Yandere Dev's Discord server.
That's funny.
Set at 6 seconds. And so this was a former world record holder. Beating the former world record champion was trendsetter Manoka. As the Yandere Dev server evolved, it basically
Gotta head out. Thanks for streaming. It was relaxing. Yo, Trixie, thanks for stomping in. Thanks for chilling. Do appreciate you. Join the Discord if you want to keep up with the game and shit. Thank you. Roachware Game Jam 2025 too. Also, those Discord bans were frame perfect. Hell yeah. That's awesome. Yo, thanks for stopping in. Appreciate it.
reinvented itself and turned into a different server and challenge. This pastime, while present throughout the past
Yo, Fandom Girl, thanks for the sub. I didn't see that. My bad. It didn't pop up.
few years, picked up in stride January 2020.
He beat it.
That speedrun, posted January 19th, 2020, was 7.58 seconds. Impressive.
Damn, they were quick with it too, boy. As soon as he posted it, they were quick with it.
That speedrun, posted January 19th, 2020, was 7.58 seconds. Impressive and also inspiring to others. As shown, the runner, as did the former world record holder, made the decision to post a short video. This is eye-catching and saves the time needed to both type and have a moderator read a message and then apply the ban. As Yandere Dev's images from Gaia Online were in circulation and easily recognizable, these were found to be optimal. Still, there was much room for improvement. This was beaten on the same day by nearly 2 seconds at 5.93 seconds. The runner saving time by using the keyboard commands to post the image. Following this feat was a feat even grander than the last. Using keyboard commands, an optimal eye-catching picture, and precision, the record was beaten by exactly 2 seconds at 3.93 seconds. This was the number to beat, and many tried, but only succeeded in spreading the word massively on the ongoing speedruns. As word of the spread, so did memes of Yandere Dev that were used in the speedruns, like the "Are You Coding Son" meme, that utilized the 3 pictures that accompany one of his infamous Gaia posts with minor editing. In the meme, his father enters and asks, "Are you coding, son?" Where Yandere Dev replies, "Sure am, Dad." When left alone, Yandere Dev then winks at his audience, implying no work is being done. Interest in Yandere Dev increased, similar to his blow-up in 2015. The difference now was that new people were exposed to him, now knowing first of the memes and second-hand the game. So for the first time ever was a true and growing interest in his character and infamy. It seems this was only an inevitability sprung by chance from the ongoing speedruns.
That's awesome,
Still, the
dude.
19th, new measures were taken to impede the bombardment of new members joining in to disrupt the server with memes. Now to chat, one had to have a paid subscription to his Twitch channel. The following day, this was amended to accept those who donate Discord Nitro. Runners did not want to donate money, so they found a way to circumvent these restrictions. By naming one's Discord to "Are You Coding Son" or variants of his memes, his user roster would be full of derisive or eye-catching remarks against Yandere Dev. As these users were banned, the speedruns and world record evolved. Runner Flaws Glob not only used an eye-catching image as their profile picture and a meme for their name, they added an exclamation mark in front of their name. That way they'll be moved to the top of the Discord user roster and banned quicker. The result was a world record beaten again, this time by 2 seconds, set at 1.41 seconds. As this new method caught on, new measures again were put in place.
That's so funny.
Okay, so this is gonna be my personal attempt at getting banned really fast. Alright, so it started. And I got... Did I just get banned? Wait.
Posted January 26, 2020 by runner Skirk3 was a world record of 0 seconds.
Wow.
This feat earned 4.5 million views. By using former strategies such as an eye-catching profile picture and choosing the name,
Let's go. The cum chalice. No! Dude!
the runner was banned in an instant, presumably by a bot or a very active moderator looking for keywords in one's name. Speedruns still persisted, but with this world record claimed, the race was over. This arc captured by several videos and compilations,
That's so
including
funny.
a 193 video playlist on YouTube where 61 of the videos are unavailable. There were also videos recounting these events, like Balkinson's 3-part series a la the popular stream run documentary channel Summoning Salt. Though these speedruns may have lost momentum, the memes did not, and only picked up in February.
I gotta put this guy in my game.
One of particular note was the cum chalice, as users found the original video of Alex toasting a glass of milk only to be struck down by copyright. So they began dubbing the audio.
Now then, let's begin with a simple explanation of the class trial.
Some audio was surprisingly well-fitting. Twitter was also playing its role. Consume the cum chalice, which variants like consume the coom or coom chalice became the universally understood references of Alex's milk toasting video. There was a rapid evolution in his memification, a process that was not affecting Alex positively. Taking into account his deep desire to be taken seriously as both a developer and a person, this is the exact opposite of what he wanted. As a response to this, on January 20, 2020, in the height of the speedruns, Alex tweeted, quote, "Thought experiment. Imagine that someone successfully convinces the entire world that you deserve to be treated like shit. As a result, you're harassed by dozens of people every hour of the day for several years with no end in sight. When will you decide to commit redacted?" Unquote. 13 hours later,
You play
he was
along with it. You play along with
seen
it.
telling one of the speedrunners that, quote, "Anyway, you have no worth or value and the world would be better without you." Unquote. On YouTube, he was still copyright striking critical videos, and on his blog, in February, he stated vaguely that, quote, "The past 2 weeks were dominated by problems going on in my personal life, and as a result, I wasn't able to work on the game as much as I wanted to." Unquote. Then there was another blog post mid-February on Valentine's Day in the same vein. Quote, "I plan to release Osana on February 14th, Valentine's Day. Today is the day that Osana was going to be released, but it's not happening. Over the past 25 days, I've been subjected to the largest avalanche of hate and harassment that I've ever experienced. It's impossible to be productive under these circumstances." Unquote. The lack of progress combined with the ongoing evolution of memes, his expressiveness of his dissatisfaction contrasted by his own toxicity, and now a collaboration with Project QT involving 2 characters of Yandere Simulator in its sexually explicit game brought on more negative attention.
Yandere-chan and Info-chan are now playable characters in a game called Project QT. In case you haven't heard of it,
mobile game.
Project QT is a gacha game with turn-based combat. It's also an 18+ game for adults only.
As Alex was doing as the solution around the panty shot mechanic and other perverse themes that were criticized for involving minors, he was changing only the canon of the game so that characters were 18+, but not modifying the high school outfits nor the setting. Alexander had long been pulled in every direction by his want to appease different portions of his user base and his own desires. This change, because it was a middle ground, brewed discontent. Challenging other areas of the game was Osana and r/Osana. This appears to be created as a result of Alex's purchasing of r/Yandere_simulator. This exodus was joined by those also seeking to speak on the game freely. In 2019, it was combined with another subreddit known similarly as Where's Osana, and now in 2020, the ranks swelled. On YouTube, Kabakaiju made a second video on Yandere Dev titled, "Yandere Dev is never going to finish Yandere Simulator." In an hour and 49 minutes, as opposed to his prior video, Kabakaiju examines Yandere Simulator as a game and its mechanics rather than its code, criticizing its feature creep. The game, even with the goal of Osana, felt pointless, and a product too reflective of Alex's personal interests.
This bridges me to my next critique, being, what the fuck is all of this?
The heavy inclusion of the in-world anime that Alex wrote to be similar to Evangelion, or the town he was developing. All this emphasizing how directionless Alex was, especially when put alongside other successful indie games. That and recent controversies like his hate and shame video that caused a massive dip in his Patreons, retconning the ages of the characters despite their depiction of being high school students remaining, made worse with their previous canonical age. With all this and more, Kappa roughly estimates that the game is not even close to
It's
being
more of a
done.
street? Okay.
This was significantly lower than Alex's own estimation that in 2018 was a vague less than 50% complete. What was meant to be the year Osana launched was turning into the year the game was pronounced dead. From speedruns to countless YouTube videos, and even games creating entertainment where Yandere Simulator lacked progress. On the non-game side, his accounts were getting hacked. His Discord continued to be raided, and his patrons were dropping. In July of 2020, he was getting only $1.6 thousand a month. Obsessively, Alex was trying to plug up as many of these holes as he could, not realizing it was that was sinking his ship. A good example of this is how he handled Lovesick. Like Watashi no Mono, it is a Yandere Simulator-esque game, except this one is very much on the nose in terms of emulation. According to the description of the trailer, quote, it's a revamped, reimagined version of Yandere Simulator to improve on the original game's concept and ideas. This game takes on the role of an actual Yandere, not an emotionless murdering schoolgirl, although you still have the ability to murder anyone, which is up to you. Unquote. With this, uploaded July 4th, was a cause for dual celebration. Its trailer came at a perfect time where hatred towards Yandere dev fueled attention to this possible alternative. Alex felt that he needed to act, so he messaged Dr. Apius on Discord.
Competition.
This one is the most important and reads, quote, if the cost of Yandere Simulator was ending a person's life, I'd cancel development. Unquote. Dr. Apius looked to have incurred Alex's typical lambasting. Alongside a copyright strike from one of Alex's associates, Alex contacted Dr. Apius, stating his creation was a direct attack towards Alex's mental health. With foresight, Lovesick, later renamed Love Letter, would actually go nowhere due to its own controversies sparked by its creator. As for right now, the messages Yandere devs sent Dr. Apius were the most prominent. What Alex likely didn't know is that Dr. Apius
What are up with all these fucking weirdos online, like grooming, dude? It's insane to me.
was in contact with the dev of Watashi no Mono, Epic Meal Dev.
Not only this guy, but the guy who just made that Love Letter game.
And received screenshots of Alex attempting to guilt Epic Meal Dev into stopping development as well, though he was using his financial backers instead. Quote, what I do know is that people feel justified in attacking me or lose faith in me, or withdraw financial support because they believe that WNM is proof that I could be doing my job faster. Unquote. These were dated early 2019. Only to be leaked now by Dr. Apius. As a direct response to him stating that Dr. Apius' lovesick was threatening his life, readers took to Twitter with hashtag #RipYandereDev. Shared amongst these posts were more memes of Yandere Dev, even some where he robs a gas station. Some using deepfake technology, as was being seen widely with the images from Gaia. There was even a deepfake video that simulates what it would be like to go on a date with Yandere Dev at a Pizza Hut.
So basically, in this game, you play as a Yandere, who it's a Japanese term.
This was a peak of interest in Yandere Dev. That still only matches the lowest point of interest in Yandere Simulator. There was one way that he theoretically could turn this around. A glint of hope. Could the release of Osana save the game and draw in more supporters and attention away from Alex? On August 1st, he stated that she was complete. He just needed to polish her. This was not good news, and Osana still has not been released now 3 years and 9 months past the original deadline.
3 years,
Mid-August
jeez.
came with another post confirming her completion with the necessary polish.
2020.
And then the date no one thought would come arrived.
You finally showed up?
Hi. Osana is complete. Yandere Simulator's first official demo is now available.
On August 31st, Osana was in the game, and the game became a functioning demo. In his video announcing this, Yandere Dev explains Osana's extreme delays were due to waiting for volunteers to complete her animations, and that other aspects of the game needed development to allow Osana to be fleshed out. With that in mind, Alex made a new goal of sorts.
At this point, it would be quite reasonable for you to ask, will the other rivals take as much time to create as Osana did?
The answer is yes.
And the answer is no. The reason why it took 6 months to implement Osana is because I had to create the systems that were necessary for the game to support the presence of a special student that everything else would revolve around. Now that all of those systems are in place, dropping new rivals into the game will be much easier and faster. The most time-consuming part will be waiting for volunteers to create the animations and models necessary to give each rival a unique set of events. After hearing
What was he doing with the other
that, you might
24?
be
Yeah.
wondering, how close is Yandere Simulator to completion?
4
In
years.
my opinion, Yandere Simulator is 90% gameplay mechanics and 10% story elements. 100% of the gameplay mechanics are now functional, but only 10% of the story elements are in the game. So you could say that the game is currently 91% complete.
Bro, what's crazy to me is Hardbound is in the exact same situation. And like this is a blueprint of what not to do with your game, and it's wait 10 years to release it. And Heartbound, I don't even think Heartbound's like 10% the game this is. Pirates game, yeah. I don't think Heartbound's 10% of the game this is.
The game, by Yandere Dev's estimation, is 91% complete. In late 2016, it was 45% complete, and so this last 9% should not be a problem. There was the added circumstance that development would be sped up with more donations, and with Osana complete, there would have to be a bump in supporters. This heavily anticipated feature has to have done something, and it did. It bumped Alex's Patreon to just shy of $2,000 by the start of September, and that was it. Interest in the game barely moved upwards. The lack of interest could not be overcome. With all the things that happened in 2020, the lukewarm response of Osana was by far the worst, and it is when Yandere Simulator truly fell apart. Game-wise, Yandere Dev wanted her to be the least difficult of all the 10 rivals, yet he expressed much difficulty in developing an entry-level obstacle that came in the form of her friend/bodyguard. Eliminating Osana in most cases requires the removal of Osana's friend, which overall is not an easy or quick feat, meaning that he would have to outdo himself continuously with the following rivals if this was meant to be the easy one. The support for the game was dying, and it was no surprise. The months following had more volunteers leave and moderators removed from his Discord for their predatory behavior. What stung the community was the sheer amount of instances that the moderator, Joel the Creeper, as he named himself, was not shy with his interest that went all unchallenged until recently. The 7-year mark was coming up. In this post, now March of 2021, Alex was expressing not just his typical burnout, but a want to jump ship. Quote, 7 years is way longer than I ever expected to work on Yandere Simulator, and I would really love to work on other projects. However, there is a very obvious reason why that's not an option. Backlash. Unquote. Recalling a video from June 2018, Alex provided a list of several indie games that took upwards of 5 years to be complete, with the exception of one. Knowing where he was demotivating. Being at such a low point demands examination of oneself. Alex previously did not want to adjust the way he behaved.
Owlboy took
Demand
9
one
years,
of
really?
several indie. Recalling a video from June 2018, Alex provided a list of several
at time
indie games
5 years
that took upwards of 5 years to be complete, with the exception of one. Knowing where he was demotivating. Being at such a low point demands examination of oneself. Alex previously did not want to adjust the way he behaved because he received support regardless. Now, with everything being stripped away, he knew he had to change or revert to the life he was living prior to the Yandere Simulator.
Because Yandere Simulator's future is entirely dependent on whether or not people trust me and feel comfortable supporting me, I think that my current goal should be to restore people's faith in me. There are a lot of things I'll need to do in order to accomplish that. But one of the things I'd like to do first is to demonstrate my ability to put 10 rivals into the game in a timely fashion.
A month later, in this blog, he stated, quote, the next build of the game will have 10 rivals, unquote. In August, he stated 9 out of the 10 rivals were complete.
What if I just...
What a 10 adding 10 is a big step. I would have done 5 or 4. like there's just a lot of time, and then it's just a big number to promise, and things go wrong. So not only like you got one person in there, you got Osana in there, and you say that adding 9 more will be easier, but you don't know what's gonna happen because you have to program those differently. 3 would have been the last. Yeah. Yeah. Adding 10 is insane. Because you don't know what's gonna happen, and then you have to program, or you have to correct bugs with each of those.
Create a new set of rivals. Rivals who exist purely to allow players to test the 10-week system.
His solution for the implementation of the rivals was not for the remaining rivals, but was for what he called 1980s mode. A mode where
And it's crazy if they all have their own animation thingies, whatever it is. You could probably reuse them, but if you have 10 rivals, you have like different interactions and shit, yeah. Different story, unique anims, voices, interactions, schedule, yeah. Exactly. Death animations, you can reuse that shit. Like think of like Naughty Bear. You can have different naughty, like you can reuse animations for deaths and stuff. So that's no problem.
we can play as the protagonist's mother in the 1980s,
mode? What's 1980s
eliminating
mode?
simplified versions of rivals in place of the complex ones, antagonists, but was for what he called 1980s mode. A mode where you can play as the protagonist's mother in the 1980s, eliminating simplified versions of rivals in place of the complex ones the main game will have. While this did fulfill a promise to include rivals, it was not the ones that people were expecting. The ones for the version of the game people were accustomed to. And so interest, patrons, everything stagnated. The following year was even less eventful. There were monthly updates to his blog and community posts on YouTube, but no new rivals.
Like Yandere
no new
but
videos
in
on his
the
main channel.
1980s, yeah.
An entire year
I saw that
without
with the
meaningful
haircuts.
progress.
Dudes walking
Then,
around
at the end of the
pompadours
year,
and elephant
uploaded
trunks.
a single 3-minute video to his main channel, opening with a satirical imitation to addressing his disappearance.
Join us for this 2-hour documentary as we investigate the mysterious and unexplained disappearance of Yandere Dev.
How you just disappeared?
Hey, whoa, hey, wait a minute, what the heck? I didn't disappear. I've been here the whole time. I've been active. I've been posting updates. Okay. Maybe I should, start from the beginning.
Yandere Dev explains that his departure from YouTube was because he was turning to bug fixes, optimizing his time by not creating videos until he made significant progress. There was one more video uploaded shortly after, a yearly Christmas carol written in the theme of Yandere Simulator. Then nothing. The start of 2023 was the last time his Patreon went over $2,000. Volunteers were not coming in. Where in the past he would pay exceptional volunteers as a reward for their work, that was no longer the case. Besides renovating his room and a focus on bug-fixing 1980s mode, there was nothing substantial. There were short videos uploaded to his archive channel, but not much word on significant development. Even his blog had turned its mandatory monthly updates to cater to community interaction, that and bug fixes. This
game better get released soonish. Like, he's got the freest and best assistant he could ever get, ChatGPT. He could release his game. That's the best assistant there is.
Was dead. Since 2022, Yandere Simulator had no functional plans for an official Kickstarter. There were no hints at the mechanics of upcoming rivals, nothing but bug fixes. The death of the game was something Alex long feared. Now, in 2023, he was not melting down or creating controversy. He was surprisingly adapting well to both his fall from grace and the persistence of detractors. This was possibly his most difficult challenge, tackled by doubling down and focusing on his fans. And maybe this was the best way the story could end. Not one where his game's finished, but one of change. Going from an angry, purposeless individual to one that is able to reflect and grow from their mistakes. Learning not to interact in kind to those that seek his downfall. To learn from one's mistakes and become something functional. This is proven by Google Trends that show Yandere Dev was sunk into its lowest possible interest since his adaptation of the name in 2014. Then suddenly, a spike in interest. A peak surpassed by only his most tumultuous month. A wound was not reopened but thrashed, originating from the blade wielded by Sisef's accusations. These new set of scars would be slow to heal, if at all. The tragedy is that this was expected. Alex, while not too vocal at the moment, was still a shut-in without many social experiences, especially the one he desired. He was still an incel, and while many are harmless, Alex was the exception.
Now 21, Ryan still identifies as an incel, but is trying to move away from a community that he calls toxic.
The majority opinion is kind of disgusting. I see the most foul shit of my life every day. The pedophilia. It's quite rampant. They can't get a girlfriend, so they're resorting to whatever women they can find.
That was from a short documentary by SBS The Feed. As insults have become more prominent, interest has increased in covering and understanding them. And not just them, but also their victims.
I and a lot of the other younger girls and boys in these communities were effectively groomed by the older people around us.
Lani was 14 when she joined the incel community. But by 16, she wanted nothing to do with it.
There were a lot of older men weaseling their way into your close circle and getting you to open up, even get us to lie about our ages, and their only goal with me was to acquire some kind of relationship or sexual encounter.
Yeah, they're weirdos.
Younger women because they're typically more vulnerable.
That was from the same video, and is to show cases of desperate men approaching children or teens are common, as Alex was going to prove.
When you turn 18, are you gonna start an OnlyFans?
Okay, he acknowledges that she's underage. I have one more clip that proves that.
They are creeps, 100%.
No. Wouldn't it make me a bad guy if I did?
That was a snippet of a TikTok posted September 20th, 2023, which was gaining a fair amount of traction because of the soundbites of Yandere dev talking to a minor, and then some.
That's
the creator
2023?
of the TikTok was a friend of the victim, and that's how they got the soundbites. Additionally, they are promoting a video, not of theirs, but of a YouTube channel that is supposedly putting out the conversation. As it so happened, the creator of this video was in the comments section and stated, quote, "For those asking, I'm the one posting the full video. You'll find my YouTube channel under the name Ali Mixie. Thank you, Bug, for helping spread awareness," unquote. There was quite a bit of skepticism, of course. The top comment was even proclaiming that this was AI. Ironically, this was the only part that was straightforward. This conversation did happen. Everything else becomes a jumbled mess of changing intents and claims from all directions, asking for the situation to be dropped. To start, this victim, just one day after the TikTok was on Reddit,
AI
asked
sounds
for the
choppy.
situation to be dropped, stating in her post that, quote, "He wasn't trying to groom me, and recording his calls with me was very, very illegal in my state. I've spoken to him about court, lawyers, and everything. At this moment, he is not taking legal action against me and is not actively threatening me. He would have every right to take me to court if the videos were published, so please just drop it," unquote. The center of wanting this to go away is the threat of litigation. Though she states Alex is not actively threatening litigation, the subtext that he was. And it was creating its own controversy and Yandere dev trying to hide this evidence on a technicality. With that in mind, the creator of the video that the victim enlisted was still going forward with it, but it was delayed due to a rendering error. Now the thought was this video going to be released? To challenge that, on Reddit, the victim created a lengthy post verifying herself with a 6-second audio clip. The crux of the Reddit post is, quote, "I decided the whole thing was blowing up in a really stupid way and told everyone involved that I didn't want them to use my illegally taken recordings to make a video anymore. Ali really wants to release a video, though she keeps manipulating."
Heard about the Yandere simulator and said some weird stuff to a minor, but I don't believe that. I mean, it fits the bill, brother. Like, the deviancy, like, this shit runs rampant. It's all the same. It's all the same suit. You know? Uh-oh, is this gonna be a rabbit hole? Yeah, I'm already in the rabbit hole. I've been in it for fucking, what, 2 hours now? I started at 11:30, 10. Yeah, it's been a minute.
Manipulating me into thinking that I am a grooming victim. Even after I revoked my consent and told her to stop multiple times, she still plans to release the video, unquote. Jelly, as she identified herself,
burned my roof
states
of my
that
mouth.
people have
It hurts.
identified her, possibly from her.
I am not deep into this lore, but I have no idea this shit went up to 2023. I didn't either. I barely knew anything. I thought this was old news. Like, I heard the name Yandere Dev, but not like, and I knew what he was making, but I thought the game was finished. I didn't know anything else about it.
Her friend's
I
TikTok
think I only knew things about it because of like PewDiePie and Markiplier, you know.
at school and calls Ally McSee the
Yeah, dude, old ass game, to be honest, is what I thought. Yeah.
one who is going to make the video with the full Discord call
Joke's on us, it's not even out yet.
manipulative. Not only that, she also posts screenshots of her conversation through Discord with Ally, showing her continued request for the video not to be made, and Ally only trying to convince her otherwise. These screenshots also left Jelly's Discord name uncensored as Agent Jelly E Squish. So now, beyond the voice clip calling herself Jelly, readers could find any accounts that shared that very specific name. It did not take long for people to find her account, mostly because she was very open about who she was, and despite wanting the situation to go away, would discuss it at every opportunity. In here, she states that she is no longer friends with the person that posted the TikTok video. Discussion then turned to asking why she recorded the conversation at all, where she states that she was recording him to make a soundboard of his noises. These conversations were endless. Here, she also revealed
Alright, I don't
that there
care
were
about none of
snatch-
this.
Naked pictures of me? I don't think I'm good looking in Mother Nature.
Jelly was 16
I wanna hear about the
right off
game.
bat, and that his actions were not okay. For charge correspondences only, but in not
All I know is, dude's a piece of shit. You talking to 16-year-olds, you're already on the fucking, like, you're already fucked up. You're already fucked up.
profit organization related to what has recently come out about him, and in a less formal way. But attention from that was swept away to a tweet. On September 25th,
I think the rest is all going to be the same. Yeah.
Ally it of takedowning, and then Ally on Reddit. According to her directly, it was done on behalf.
I struck those videos.
From that line alone, we can establish someone is username in the Discord calls or verify the copyrights.
The wake-up call that
To be secretive
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
intent to elicit illegal.
I mean, fuck, dude. Like, unless anything, like, happened legally, like, all this is just fucking, just internet sleuthing. And, I mean, if it's true, dude's a piece of shit. You know, you're 35 years old talking to a 16-year-old. You need to go to jail. Just 100%. You need to get your ass, like, someone needs to pick your ass up and take you to fucking sexual predator fucking prison land. But I think there's one other thing. You know, this is like code based. This is an hour long. We might cover this tomorrow. It's already getting pretty late. It's already 2 a.m., guys. My thoughts on Yandere Dev. I think he wrote a check his ass can't cash. He made a game that was too big in scope, and the internet got to him. He didn't know how to deal with people talking shit, or how to just stop adding more to the game. Scope is a big issue, especially if you're in the eyes of the public like this. On YouTube, and you're popular on Reddit and all this other bullcrap. Scope is a terrible thing to get wrong. So if any of y'all ever find yourself in this situation with the game and you just keep adding more to it, less is more. So write out a game design document before you even touch your game. Write out a game design document and stick with it. If you want to add more to it later, add more to it later after release. Otherwise, like, it's just gonna blow out of proportion. Like, his game got popular. People started playing it. And he started getting a lot of money from it, and he just couldn't finish it. And just a lot of bad decision making. Checkered past behind, like, not even talking about his fucking deviancy or anything like that. It's just bad decisions with making the game. We'll review his code tomorrow. I have a video here, Yandere Simulator Complete Source Code Analysis code review. I'll watch this as well, and we'll see some of the code and stuff, and we'll play the game. As well. I do want to play Heartbound too. We'll play Heartbound and kind of review that, and see if I can. I'll see if I can break the code down and see and see if I can. What is it? get his code out of there and review it as well. But other than that, I am out of here, guys. Thank you so much for showing up. Everyone, thanks for the subscribes, Phantom Girl, Henry McLaughlin. Yeah. Everyone who came to hang out, do appreciate you. Dark Void Dev, thanks for showing up. Phantom Girl, Kitty Raptor, Elfire, P Trixie, and everyone else who's lurking. Do appreciate it. Y'all have a great night. I am out of here. Peace out.